Right, StreamYard. Go to my channel. Let's just check my volume. 1 2 1 2 1 2. I've been in it for a while. Oh, that's okay. Ba, 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 ba. Hello, Shazzy, Kieran, Spooky. How you guys doing? Just wait for people to join. What's up? What's up, man? What's up? Nothing. Doing good. How are you? Well, Tim. Hello, Madra. My bird. Peace, man. I got me cup of tea. Got myself a new laptop. I got a 12th generation i9. The guy I bought it off is an IT professional. It's only been used twice. So he helped me set that up today. And he's sending me a couple of little gadgets so I can connect my internet better. I got to ring a guy to get a better internet cable so we can fit a professional one in. So hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to set that laptop up. And oh, Maggie, Melissa, how you doing? Get it going. How are you all anyway? I'm sorry I haven't been around. Just recovered. Fucking hell. Wouldn't wish it on anyone. So what I found out is, I don't know if anyone else has had the same, right, Sunshine? Same issues with the viruses. It started off with a virus, and that went to my ears, affected my ears really bad. Everything sounded really tinny. And it was like having water clogged in your ears, and you just can't get rid of it. I actually thought it was water, but it wasn't. And then like a double sort of vision started happening, and like all cloudy. So I phoned 111 and they said it sounds like you've got burst blood vessels behind your eye sockets. I was like, oh my God. So they booked me in for A&E, went into A&E, and it took them 3 different machines over six friggin' hours. 3 different machines. And the end machine, they thought they actually seen something, and they mentioned about the blood vessels in the back of my eyes again. Now, when they check your eyes, they actually put this liquid in your eyes, so it dilutes your pupils so that they can see right to the back. So they said, right, we're going to have to get you in to see an eye specialist tomorrow. So I've gone in the next day, and more machines, more eye drops, and I've seen this expert, and she said, your eyes are perfect. There's nothing wrong with your eyes. I said, well, why did the doctor say yesterday that I had blood vessel problems? And she said, a lot of these doctors are paranoid. I went, excuse me? She said, a lot of these doctors are paranoid. They get paranoid. She said, it's just normal. She said, what's happened is you've got like, I think it's called tinnitus, is it? Something like that. Hi, Mick, Jessica. Hey, Indy. Chris in the house. I'll get with you in a minute. Hi, Kevin. And I forgot what I was saying now. But she said, this is an expert mind, right? She was Spanish, but she was an expert, and she'd been in the business for, I think she said 20 odd years. So she's like top level that you would go to. And she said, your eyes are perfect. She said, I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong with you. And then she put these pictures up on the computer. She said, do your eyes look like that? What you're seeing? And I said, yeah. So she said, I had the same exact thing with my mother. My mother started off with like tinnitus problems, and then she started getting blurred vision. And she said, it's called a silent migraine. I said, what's a silent migraine? She said, it's a migraine, but you don't know you're actually having one. And the migraine is that bad. It's actually coming from your, you know what they say about your ears, your nose, and your throat and everything? She says, your migraine is that bad that it's affecting your vision, but it's not connecting with your brain to tell you about the pain that you should be getting. So I was getting no pain whatsoever. It's just all like mind blowing, you know, what the body can actually do and what these viruses are actually capable of actually doing to people. You know, 2 years without anything, and then that happens. So if anyone out there ends up getting a virus and going through the same conditions, then you know what it is. It's astonishing that a migraine can actually give you blurred vision. I always thought a migraine, you get pain with it. But she said you can have like zigzags flying around corners of your eyes. She said that's normal on a migraine. You can get visual effects. You can start seeing things. And she was showing me all these things on the actual computer screen that a silent migraine can cause. Oh my God. But today, I went out today and I wasn't squinting in the daylight. So I'm on the mend. Hi, Bethany. Volvo, how you doing? So I'm on the mend, but yeah, these viral infections, there's so many going around, and I think because of this COVID situation, it's mutated to the fact that people are actually getting viral infections, but they're not actually testing positive because it's mutated that much over 2 years to different things. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, so keep an eye out for it, guys. I know Shazzy had COVID not so long ago. I've been speaking to a few other people that have had the same issues with the blurred vision and that from the viral infections. Also affects your nose as well, your sinuses. So mine was my ears, my sinuses, and my throat, and then it went to my eyes. Should I do the graveyard challenge the night on Halloween or do it during the week? Do it whenever you want, Kieran. But are you actually going to stay the whole night? Maybe Chris should go with you. Chris should go with you and film you live. What about actually putting you down in because you know what they do, Kieran, every day? They dig they dig graves for the next day. Maybe Chris could lower you down into a 6-foot grave and, and then cover you with soil and see how long you last. I'm going to get myself locked into Highgate Cemetery soon. Oh, Indy, when I come down, mate, you've got to take me to George Michael's grave. That's on my bucket list. I'm going to see Indy in the summer. If you haven't subbed up to Indy, you should do. But yeah, we've got a few little things planned for the summer in London. I haven't been to London since I was 12, I think. And it was, I don't think it was Buckingham Palace, it was something else. And I just remember a white line and a soldier in a box and being 12 years of age. I mean, I was in Liverpool at the time living, so my accent was really terrible. And I just kept putting my foot over the white line. And every time I put my foot over the white line, the soldier would step out of the box. And it got to the point where he was that pissed off with me. He come right out of the box, right over to me stamping, and then screamed. I can't remember what he screamed, but I just remember him screaming at me, and I absolutely shit my pants. I mean, I really did shit my pants. I thought he was going to shoot me. I was only playing across the line. You know, there's just no need for that sort of behavior from me. Shooting kids. Apparently, you're not allowed to cross the line. The royal white line, you're not allowed to cross it. So if you ever go, don't cross the white line. I know you did, Colonel. I watched it. You had some good responses. Make way for the Queen's Guards. That's it. Yeah. So I've actually got a mate, Steve, who lives in Falmouth. He was in the Queen's Guards. And to this day, he still thinks he's the Queen's Guards. He thinks that we're all civilians and he's still a Queen's Guard. I just can't get through to him. You know. I got another friend as well, because I do have friends. I've got some nice friends, but I've got some friends that have had real struggles. I've got a friend called Martin. I want to find you his video a minute, guys. Hold on. Because you really should check it out. He was in the Iraq War, and we've been in the Iraq War. He was filming the British troops beating the civilians. And it ended up on worldwide news, and he ended up getting court-martialed. He got all sorts happen to him, and it made him go absolutely doolally, the war, because people don't understand that when servicemen and servicewomen go to war, they can get post-traumatic stress, you know, and 99.9% of the time, when you're finished with your service, you'll be just kicked out. You'll get no after treatment or fuck all in this country. I know America is the worst for, I'm not going to say the word, but ending life, because they can't cope. But the UK is getting really bad. The homeless situation in the UK for ex-military servicemen and women is atrocious, absolutely atrocious. Yeah, PTSD. Now, you've got to actually live on the streets or be homeless to actually fully understand that situation. Now, in my life, I have been homeless. I was homeless as a 13-year-old kid up to the age of 16, running away from care homes, running away from abusers, because there was no way on this earth I was going to let anyone do anything to me. And I thank God for just having that street knowledge as a kid in Liverpool, to understand what these people were actually up to. But being a kid, you couldn't help anybody. You couldn't help um, these survivors. A lot of them are dead now, but you couldn't do nothing. If you was to tell someone, you'd be stuck in a padded cell, or in a room with these plastic windows that you couldn't break, that had steel lines across them, from what I remember. Can't remember what you call them, but you couldn't break out unless you complied. That was your life. So yeah, every time I would run away, they'd stick me somewhere else. Ended up sticking me on the moors in Dartmoor. There was a place called Ford Park, which was in Newton Abbot. It's gone now, and that was right up on the moors. They put you in shorts. Didn't stop me though. I'm still here. I'm still surviving, and so are many others. But so the reason I'm talking about that is I know how it feels to be homeless, and it's even worse as a kid to feel that coldness 6 o'clock in the fucking morning, for instance, when you're shivering, you got no food, nothing. Imagine doing that 24/7. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So, I do a lot for the homeless. I have done for years. Something very close to my heart, and it always will be. I call them the invisible people. There's times I've actually sat down with homeless people, and you just look up, and no one looks at you. They look straight ahead. You get the odd people that will give, but the majority just walk ahead, and they don't see you. You're just invisible. I think it's really, really sad. In this day and age, one of the richest countries, one of the richest economies in the world, and they can't even look after their own. There shouldn't be no homeless people in this country. There should be no homeless people in the world. But I'm actually in this country, and I find it absolutely shocking that it's still going on. I know Trump, when he was president, did something about it in America, but I don't know what lengths he went to. But I'm going to show you a link which you can watch in your own time about my friend Martin's journey, which actually sent him over the edge. He's won awards for this as well. Let's find it a minute. There it is. All right, so I'll put it in the chat and I'll pin it, because if you ever wanted to know how it feels for someone to be at war and the effects afterwards, how it affects you, then this is the video for you to watch. There it is. And please give it a watch and give him some support. Say hello from Ghost Adventures of Cornwall. I was with him one night, and actually in the car with him, and it was by Argyle, a place called Argyle Dam. And he got out the car and he went and he throwed all of his medals into the river. I remember that. Because he didn't know who to be angry with. But he's overcome all those situations now. He's now a master practitioner in helping people with PTSD. I've actually worked with him as well quite a few years ago. he's done a lot. He's come a long way. But in the video, you'll see him going from just normal behavior to absolutely losing his mind, telling Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, etc., that he was coming for them. That's how bad he got. But it's a real good insight into how mental health can be affected, how it can be just born from nothing. You know, a happy lad, he goes into the military and ends up going absolutely crackers. But as I said, he come out the other side. Has a lot to do. Paycheck away from being homeless, it can happen to anyone. Well, it has happened to so many people. All these people that actually voted Tory, who are now like homeless or living in a caravan, living in a van. And they've all been shit on. Mm-hmm. It's nice of you, Shazzy. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. I am doing something at the moment. What are you doing? I'm not going to ask what you're doing. Oh, Jackie. Oh, Leanne. How was your little ghost adventure? Leanne went up to God, I keep forgetting what it's fucking called. She'll tell me in the chat. I can't remember what it's called. Jamaica Inn. That's it. We are going to do Jamaica Inn. That's it. Jamaica Inn. That's nice of you, Mick. Could happen to anyone, says Sandra. Yeah, it can. So I just wanted to go live anyway, catch up with you all. Jamaica Inn has been on Most Haunted. Yes, it has, yeah. As Bodmin Jail. I've been Jamaica Inn for a meal. That's about it. I remember them having loads of props around inside the pub. But I've never actually stayed the night, so I don't know if it's haunted or not. Yeah, I'm feeling better, Maggie. I just feel it's important I tell people that how it affected me, because if it does affect them, then they'll know. And hopefully it will stop them panicking. Sorting my mum out. She's not well again. Oh, God. Oh, bless you. She's got cyst on her. Oh, my God. God. Oh, sorry, Melissa. Migraines, yeah. I never suffered with them before, but to actually hear that you can have a silent migraine, I didn't even think anything was possible. How can you have a silent migraine? No signs. Well, at least my mic's working a bit better. I've installed the software That's why it wasn't working properly last time. Well, as I said, I've got my new laptop, which I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using this one for my music. I'll set that one over here. And I said my next thing in order is to get a better cable for the connection. Although the i9, the 9th generation, gives you better Wi-Fi than the older laptops. So the Wi-Fi signal in here today, when I checked, was on full. Whereas if I take this one off the wire, it'll go down to 2. And this is an i7, this one. A Dell. Your sister had COVID. I don't even need them on at the moment. There's so many people in there. So many people getting COVID, and like I think Chris's Shaz, she had a viral infection, but negative on the COVID. That's what I mean. It's mutated to all these different things. As the weather gets warmer, I think we'll see a shift from it. It'll start disappearing, but then it'll come back in the winter again as something else. It's all right, isn't it, Mick? I think that's why when I was on Secret Vaults live, now and again my cam would go down, and I think it's to do with the wired connection. That's it's basically the cable that you use for the Xboxes, and this cable here I used on the 360. You got Xbox Ones and stuff now, but there's a Type C, I think it's called Type C cable, which gives you a top signal sort of thing. Plus, the guy said that he'd actually fit a separate router in here for me, so I won't get cut off or it won't drop out. Shaz was worse than me. Yeah, I've heard about. Well, that's been going for a couple of years, hasn't it? The C word. How can you get a strike for telling someone that you've actually had or someone's had COVID? Can understand people saying, I mean, I have to admit, I did it myself. I thought there was an overreaction when it first started, all this COVID. I was thinking it's just like a flu thing, but it's not. It's not. Oxygen will help. My dad is on it for his bad lung condition. God. They don't like the truth, Jackie. It's very true. Now you make me want to delete my stream. I don't mind getting a strike. It'll be my first one. She's full of cold, but not COVID. Shrimp Shack asked the question. Where? Missed the question. Sorry if I've missed anyone's questions. Did they find any bodies when they built the new houses in Penmere where I went swimming? No. The actual bodies are actually buried in the gardens. They're like mounds, grave mounds. That's how old they are. There's no stones or nothing. But the part they dug up was just woodland. I don't know how deep they went. I don't really know. The place dates back to the 17th century, and then they had it used in the war. Because we had a lot of Americans here in Falmouth, so it was used as a hospital where troops died or recovered. But I've actually asked the owner about those mounds, and he's got no idea whatsoever. He doesn't know what they are. But if you remember the National Trust place I went, they look exactly the same as that in that graveyard. Exactly the same. Oh, midnight. Mm. Shad. When Shaz, what? Couldn't breathe in when she went to the Bear's Head. Is that a pub? Hey, Matt. How you doing, brother? Nice to see you. We're going to be flying the drone over Penryn. Ooh. That sounds interesting, Colonel. You might find a few empty little places. Hello, Rainy. I look even cooler on your TV. You notice I've got, they call that the murderous thumb, but I haven't actually murdered anyone yet. Murderous thumb. I remember years ago I was looking up, I was like, why is my thumb all the way back like that? And I looked it up and it was like, it's called the murderous thumb. It was quite funny. Feeling better now, Sandra. On the mend. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's definitely called the murderous thumb. You can look it up. There's actually such a thing on the internet, and the internet doesn't lie. Remember that. Google tells the truth. I could have gained the murderous thumb by thinking about it. Oh dear me. This is true because it used to be straight. I mean, I've got that many broken bones in my hands. It's unbelievable. Got my scaphoid. It's all gone there. Got a knuckle back there. Like, broke everywhere. Now, why would you be thinking about Willies, Scott? That's just weird. I bet he sat there bending his willy back. Good God. I don't want you men going to bed tonight playing with your, you know what, bending it back. See if it can go like my thumb. See if you can. I'm not even going to go there. You just puked in your mouth. Hey, Adrian. I spoke to someone who owns a bunker this evening. She told me about the landlord of pubs whose baby was pushed into the ceiling by a poltergeist. He left the pub that night and never came back. Good God. What? Did I just read that right? I spoke to someone who owns a bunker. She told me about the landlord of the pub whose baby was pushed to the ceiling by a poltergeist. Wow. Oh my God, that's creepy. That is like really. Whoa. That's mad. Is that pub is it empty? Is there anyone living in that pub now? Maybe I need to go to that pub. Get me in that pub. Can we get in that pub, Matt? What do you think? Joe? Don't ever want to be possessed or have a demon anywhere near me ever. Oh, well, you best not. You best not come out with me then, Leanne. There's a pub in Newfoundland called the Seal Club. Oh, it's been demolished. Oh, for God's sake. I was just saying to Indy earlier, a few places I want to go in Edinburgh. Edinburgh is crazy for paranormal. Absolutely mental. These places I want to stay and keep them to my chest. I've looked up the history on them, and there's really, really crazy. Edinburgh seems to be a place that's just stuck in the past, you know. Everything around it from the past is still there, centuries ago. It's creepy. Even the hotels. Yeah, Chris has got his caravan still. In fact, he was live the other night, and nails started falling through through his caravan ceiling. What the fuck? I mean, that's poltergeist stuff, isn't it? You can actually hear it happening when he stands up. You can hear the nails coming through the ceiling. Shame it couldn't be caught on camera, but yeah. Imagine walking into the bedroom and seeing your baby pushed into the ceiling by an unseen force. That's just mental. Still can't get my head around that. Reminds me of that film, The Entity, what that woman actually went through in real life. You know, there was proper scientific people witnessing what was happening. She wasn't making it up. It was actually happening to her. That's something I want to start doing on this channel as well. Is once I get everything set up, is doing like ghost night quiz sort of thing. We're talking about movies from different eras and put a prize up for the end of the month. Because I just love all the retro stuff. I know you can't see it all behind me at the moment. I love retro movies. You've got The Lost Boys, The Exorcist, Poltergeist up there. You've got Freddy Krueger over there. I need to sort this place out. The Shining. I love all that stuff. I was watching Michael J. Fox film the other night. What was that one called? The Frighteners. Anyone seen that? The Frighteners. It's a bit of a comedy horror, but it's just retro. It's brilliant. I like it when the ghost he has these ghosts and he basically gets them to go into houses and makes them haunted so that he can get some money. And he ends up going into this museum, and this old cowboy ghost sees a mummy in the tomb, and he jumps in, and you just see the tomb rocking, and he comes out and he goes, "I like it when they lie still like that. I like it when they lie still like that." It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. They said they was going to remake The Exorcist, didn't they? But I can't see how anyone can recreate that film to make it better than what it was. I really can't. If you think that was made in the 70s when special effects, I mean, the master of special effects at that time was Steven Spielberg. Or Spielberg, whatever his name is. With that film about the UFOs. What was that called? Oh, God. What was that film called? Anyone in the chat? It's there on the tip of my tongue, and I just can't spit it out. That's it. Thank you. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Amazing, amazing effects. If you look on YouTube at films from the 70s and then look at Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you'd think, how the hell is that made in the 70s when all these other films can't match it 99.9% through the effects that we're actually showing? I'd still to this day don't know how he did it, but way ahead of his time. And the same with The Exorcist. They was only on a small budget, but what they created was just astonishing, absolutely astonishing. I think I was 16 when I went to watch that. Well, it might have been 15 or 16. It was 1980 something. I think it was 1986. I can't remember. 85, 86. I can't remember. Yeah, it's about then. And I was up in a place called Runcorn, which is just down the road from Liverpool. And I went to spend Christmas with my parents. And it was snowing. It was snowing. And there's a place called the Shopping City, which is an indoor shopping centre, like the Arndale Centre sort of thing, but just a a smaller size. So I went there, had a walk around, and I seen The Exorcist. I don't know how I managed to get in, but I got in, and it had already started. And where I think it was just up to where he finds this little demon statue. The priest, he finds a demon statue in the desert. You know, the actual priest that done the exorcism and then died. He finds this little statue. I think he was in Iraq where he found it, and then it shows him having heart problems, taking his medication, and then seeing this gigantic figure of the devil. So I'm sat there. I can still remember to this day. I'm sat there thinking, yeah, right. And then as the movie progresses, I fucking shit my pants. Absolutely shit my pants. When that big lump came in that girl's throat on the bed and her eyes rolled back, I shit my fucking pants. Absolutely shit my pants. Still remember it to this day. I was holding on to the seat, and I just remember being really quiet. It's like everyone was just shocked. But seeing as this film had been out since the 70s, and we're talking about 1985 or whatever when I'm watching it, I was just absolutely fucking mortified. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. The only things I was used to watching as a kid, a little kid, was Frankenstein, Dracula, things like that, Christopher Lee, Vincent Price. You know, this was another level. Well, this was like 5 levels. It was totally different. It was like you actually felt like you was in the movie. And there's not many movies that have actually done that to me. I can't think of one apart from that where I've actually felt that I'm actually inside that bedroom witnessing this girl being possessed. And then when her head spins round, I'm like, oh my God. And it's got the crucifix. That Jesus, you know what? I'm like, nah, this is too much for me. And then to actually leave that cinema and having to walk home in the snow, in the darkness, and hearing someone walking behind me, 20 feet behind me, you know, like a black silhouette shadow sort of thing, or dressed in black, fucking shit my pants. Absolutely shit it. But yeah, that's The Exorcist. That's the original poster. Warner Brothers, when they brought it on video. See it first on video. Go and be scared. 10 out of 10. Crazy. See, now if I look back, if I watch like films like The Evil Dead, remember The Evil Dead? If I watch things like that now, it just makes me laugh. But Poltergeist was really good. I did love Poltergeist, the original Poltergeist films, 1 and 2, and 3. They were really good. I'm waffling on here, aren't I? Let's catch up with the chat. Damien, wasn't that the name of the priest in The Exorcist? Damien, your mother's in here. Would you like to leave a message? I'll be sure she gets it. What the fuck? Scariest thing I saw as a kid. Show made one time only on the house. The BBC one, wasn't it? On the BBC. They pranked everyone. That was live as well. Everyone shit themselves. Nice stuff. Oh, The Omen. Yeah, the original Omen. See, when I watch that now, just don't. It doesn't cut it for me. But when I watched it when I was really young, that was quite scary. I think it was the dogs that did it to me. The Rottweilers. Was it Rottweilers or I think it was Rottweilers. I think I've got an Omen poster as well somewhere. So I need to sort this shed out. Day of the Dead. Was that the zombies? What was that one where they were all in the shopping in America? All those zombies. Everyone turned into zombies, and the only ones that weren't was stuck in this shopping center. Was that what that was called? Rotties. Yeah, it was Rottweilers. Dawn of the Dead. There you go. See, there's some of these countries. They actually do have like what they call people who are zombies. They do all this voodoo stuff on them, and it just turns them into zombies, lifeless. Dawn of the Dead, 1978. God, I can't think of a recent film that would be categorized as a great horror. Trying to think. Maybe there is one. Just can't think of it. There's been so many remakes of the old horror films because there's no imagination anymore, is there? My, my son's dad is from the Seychelles. I can't even say that. Where is that? Is that Seychelles? Seashells on the seashore? Seychelles? Is that right? Is that the right pronunciation? Hold on a minute. I thought I was actually coming through my headphones then. Mm-hmm. 1 minute, guys. Whoa, my chat's gone crazy. Oh, Barry. Barry in the house. Barry's always a good mod when he's got time. There we go. I just done that one for a laugh. I just done that one for a laugh because I know it affects people. People get affected by it. You can never have too little mods, you know? Oh, I just did it for a laugh, Chris. I thought it was funny. Right, I'm going to make a cup of tea in a minute. I'm going to put this ghost box on until I come back in. I can't believe that stuff I had in that cemetery. That was crazy. Voice. Please help me. Help me. Help me. I'm like, whoa. What's that doing? What's all that about? Hmm. Oh. Mark, Matthew, the Secret Vault, has said that he's free if you want to add him on as a guest. All right. Yeah. Let me get WhatsApp on. WhatsApp. WhatsApp. Mac or Windows? We want it for Windows. So much stuff I need to install onto this laptop. It's crazy. And then the other one tomorrow. Come on, WhatsApp. Oh, I don't know what's happened. Hey, Cheryl. All right, so now I have to use my phone. WhatsApp. Oh, there we go. Sorted. Right, I'm just going to make a quick cuppa. Then Matt's going to come on. I'll just run this quickly. Oh.
Now that's big. Auditory. I shot it.
Not with that.
Every soul.
What's wrong with that?
Please get on. And supply.
Four bags. Tail.
And I
Started. 1160. More flexible. It's so cool.
Hey, tonight, you know.
Succubus is Rick.
See, this is Rick. Let's see, your name's Rick. Is that what you said?
In heaven.
Heaven?
Secretaries.
Who's in heaven?
So, yeah.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Hello.
Hey.
How you doing, Mark?
Um,
Can you hear me?
doing? You good?
Yeah.
Excellent.
How come you look so bigger than me?
So I sit closer to the camera.
I'm not having this.
I know you said this. You've got your cameras like back there. Plus, it's a
Yeah.
wide angle one, and you got no hope really, have you? You know.
Bob open, no hope.
Mm, mm. And
I am going to
hope
actually
on a
move it a
rope.
bit closer.
Yeah.
What you been up to?
I probably don't want to bore you and go into it, but I've just been dealing with the police a lot because there's been a lot of aggro from trolls and crap. So I've been passing on information to the police and doing bits and pieces like that. And dealing with court cases, it's just been nothing but police and court bollocks. So yeah, writing letters, bang, 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 back and forth. Yeah. So it's just boring.
What, real life trolling?
Real life trolling. Yeah, I've got one person who was caught for doing it to me, and they're probably going to go to jail, I'm imagining. I can't say too much about it because it's an ongoing case, but yeah. And I've just got that same person probably working with another person that we know who just went and did something really stupid, like big time stupid, and basically there's now got 3 police forces looking into the matter of what they did. Yeah.
Wow.
You got no idea, mate. I haven't told you about it. You got no idea. Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate.
Yeah, so that's just shit. I mean, I don't want to go into it. I don't want to, because it just become like I talk about it too much on my channel. But yeah, they'll catch them. They think they're untouchable, these people, but they're going to catch them, and that's it.
It's always good to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I just spoke to somebody. I was wondering about how I could make me myself look more mysterious and like spooky, like yours, like that. You know, like yeah. Make you look like ghosty times, you know, like in the dark.
Have you got a murderous thumb? Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
maybe.
fuck. He's got one too.
Depends what angle you put it at, I suppose, isn't it? See, murderous thumb.
Isn't that what Caesar used to do?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I always use lube myself, but
is that why it's called the murderous thumb? Was it Caesar?
Oh,
that could be it.
Oh. Yeah, but yeah, I was speaking to this lady Sue who runs it's called Fancy's Farm up on Portland, and you know, the island of Portland, and up on the top you've got the Verne Prison. And I was talking to her about, I said, I nearly got into this. There was a pub down the road and they knocked it down the other day. And she said, oh yeah, that was the really poltergeisty pub. And I was like, really? She said, yeah, the landlord in there, the last one who was there before it closed, and the reason it closed was because he'd got pushed down the stairs and hurt himself quite badly. And then he'd gone upstairs and his baby was up on the ceiling. And basically, they grabbed the kid, grabbed some clothing, left the building, and never went back. That was the story she just told me, and she seems like she's a bit of a font of local knowledge, because she's been telling me all about bunkers and mines and everything on the island. She knows everything. She's really quite into her stuff. Yeah, it sounded pretty bad, and I was like, oh. I said, it's typical, isn't it? I really wanted to go in that pub. It looked like it was really easy to get into because they were going to be knocking it down, so we're doing some work, and then like I went down there the next time and it wasn't there anymore. Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to have gotten there.
I
was actually wanting to go to Portland, as you know.
Yeah.
But no.
Well, see, she's got that bunker, that military bunker, the Rota bunker, which is one of the deepest ones they ever did. It's about 70 foot underground, and that's on her land. So I've been keeping on to her for years. You know, let me in, and she said, well, you'll have to have your own insurance to come in. You know, because if you get injured or anything. So I went and got my own insurance, cost me £100, and then I went in there. But I've been chatting to her about all that sort of stuff. So. And she's told me of a couple of other bunkers around the place which I didn't even know were there. So yeah.
Oh,
nice. What have you been up? What have you been up to lately?
Just getting better, mate. Been ill.
Yeah.
Oh COVID? Yeah. No, it wasn't COVID. It was some viral infection, and started pain in the back of my eyes. Then my ears went like tinnitus sort of thing, and then I've had blurred vision for like 3 days. So I had to go A&E and that. Went yesterday, seen a specialist. She said your eyes are fine, and then she told me it's to do with a viral infection. It's called a silent migraine. And I was like, "What's a silent migraine?" It's like a migraine.
I can't tell you about it. Just we don't talk about it.
I can't tell you.
Yeah.
She said it's just a migraine. You can get migraines and you can get no pains and you don't know you're having it. and because you haven't, it's so chronic what's going on, it affects your vision.
Mm.
And then she started showing me pictures on the laptop of how my eyes would be looking. I was like, yeah, it's like that. And she said, well, it's lucky it's not like this one. I was like, oh my God, because you can get like rainbow colors on your eyes and everything. It can really mess you up.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, I was getting zigzags as well from the corners of my eyes, like zigzags. Have you ever had that? If you ever get that, anyone, that's a migraine as well. Yeah, peripheral vision. That's the one, isn't it? I kept saying peripheral. She went, no, it's peripheral. Peripheral.
Yeah.
I thought it was peripheral. She said,
No,
where are you from?
It's profiterole.
Oh, it's crazy. He's holding like fingers up. She said, how many fingers? And I couldn't see fuck all. I could just see like a stump. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? She said, look, I just know what you're having because my mother had the same experience. It started in her ears and then it went to her eyes. She said it could last a couple of weeks, but being out today, sunlight, and I was fine. So it's come back. Vision's back now.
Didn't give you any antibiotics or anything?
I had antibiotics 2 weeks ago for my chest.
Mm.
I had a really bad chest infection as well, but COVID-free. It's crazy.
I wonder if the chest infection kind of like moved around and went into your head a bit.
It must have.
Mm.
The first thing I said in A&E, I said, I'm not right in the head. My missus started pissing herself. She said, I've been telling you that for years.
Well, it's good you managed to get that sorted. There's some very interesting places on Portland. There's some fortifications you can go in, which I thought might be of interest to you, because you can go in like these tunnels. There's forts up there, and you can walk through the tunnels, and they go, around corners and little rooms, and it's all underground.
Oh wow!
Little fortifications.
Nice.
I'll give you some pins. There's even I found something, and I asked Sue about it. She knew everything. I was asking her about it, and I said, "Look at this by here. Look in somebody's back garden. There's like steps going down." She went, "Yeah. That guy found that he had like a fort in his back garden, and he went down there and he dug it all out because they filled it in with earth, and he went and dug it all out, and it's 4 floors down and rooms going off."
What?
Mm-hmm. And he dug it all back out. So I said, well, I'll have to go and knock on his door then and say, can I come and have a look at your fort in your back garden, please?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Someone found in that Portland, the older part of the prison was a morgue. Have you ever been there?
I haven't. No, there's an underground hospital.
Yeah, and there's a morgue there as well, apparently, because it was all once covered by. There was a massive 2 gates, and it was covered with boulders. But someone went there last year, and all the boulders are gone.
Right.
But it's an open prison, isn't it? It's all nonces are in there.
It's a category C prison, but it's a low category C going into D. But yeah, it's nothing but sex offenders. There's no other prisoners in there.
Gazzo Glitter's in there. What he was.
I asked Sue. Knows all about this. Apparently, he's not there now. I don't know where he is, but he's not there now.
Gone to Thailand again.
Don't know what's gone on there.
Dirty bastard.
I know. You were asking about that that pub. It's called the Ferry Bridge. I can show it to you if you can bring it up on screen if you want to show everybody else. I'll just bring it on thing now. Look, there it is. Have you got it?
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's the Ferry Bridge pub, and it looked quite big. And as you can see, it just had a piece of wood stuck on the side of it, so it should have been easy to get into. But now it's completely flattened.
Oh, I'm gutted.
Yeah. And it's right on the edge of the water. Look. Right on the edge of the water. And that's the main road that goes from Weymouth. That's Weymouth in the distance. And if you turn around, that's Portland Island. So it's literally the last building, the very last building you get before you go on that road going across to Portland. And I would have thought, being where it was like that, that would make it, there'd be a lot of energy there on that point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I know, and I've been looking at it. I've been looking at it for about a year, And then I was thinking, right, I've got to do this because it, and I was thinking, I'll ask the lads, do they want to come? Because it'd be a shame to just me do it on my own. I'll ask the lads, are they going to come? And then like a month afterwards, something like that, it's just gone, been pulled down.
Do you reckon the
Crazy.
poltergeist went over to those houses?
I don't know, man. Yeah, and guess what as well? It appeared in a movie called The Damned, because I'm doing research now onto the island and this bunker, and there was Oliver Reed was in a movie, and the very end of the movie, 2 helicopters land right near that pub, and they grab this kid who's like one of these sort of like supernatural children, and they take him back to the island, and Oliver Reed drives his car. And then because he's let the kid go, I think he has a crisis of conscience, so he just turns his car off the road and crashes his car right in front of that pub. That's in the movie.
Do you know what? I think
The Damned. It's black and white.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
And it's got all these kids are kept in a secret base under the island.
I thought that was based in Cornwall.
No, and that's the bunker. They actually take him to the secret base, and they've got a guardhouse there, and they open it, and somebody drives in. Well, underneath there is a real secret base. That's the rotor bunker is underneath it. But that was just chance. They were using it because it was available to film the movie there, because they just closed down the rotor bunker, so it was available to kind of do some stuff. But it turns out they did actually have a secret underground base there. So it's funny how the movie was kind of mimicking the truth, as it were. But
how the hell do I get that background off my laptop? What the fuck? How do I get that off my StreamYard?
Oh, StreamYard. You have to go into your options in StreamYard, I think, settings.
Because that just comes from
virtual background, I think it's called, or something like that. So you go into settings, virtual background, and you just say none.
Yeah, we don't want none. There we go. Why is it still there?
Yeah, if you say none.
I did click none.
Mm.
Virtual background, none. What's going on?
Stuck with it now. And you're not moving anymore for some reason. Your cam's not moving now.
What, you can't see me?
Well, I can't. I don't know if everybody else can see. Let me.
Oh my God, I've got Regan behind me.
You.
What the fuck is going on? Why am I stuck? Hold on, let me jump out.
Yeah.
I'm still
He's
there.
lost it there. No, he's just a black screen now. What the hell's gone on wrong? Oh shit.
Oh, what's going on, Matt?
Don't know, man. Might maybe change your settings and then go to camera and change the camera from to another camera, and then change it back to the proper camera again. Switch it out and switch it back. It might kind of kick it back into working. There you go. That's working now. That was weird. Oh, look, you got two cameras, mate.
What?
You've got 2 cameras. You just went onto a different camera then. You went onto a close camera that was on your laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had a closer camera. You did have a closer camera. It was on your laptop.
Well, at least I'm moving now.
Oh.
That was weird.
You've got 2 angles. You could actually have two cameras.
But I can't get that background off. I'm stuck with it.
Yeah, that one that's in the background of StreamYard. I don't know whether you've got to log into StreamYard, as in log into it, and change your background there, maybe.
Backgrounds.
You might have to log into StreamYard. I never log into it, but I think it's something like that. You change it in the... Yeah. Let's have a look what's in StreamYard.
We've gone into space, Matt.
Have we?
We're in space.
You found where it is then, obviously.
We're in space right now.
Oh. The final frontier.
That's something I want to get into in the summer as well. I've got the filter for my camcorder to put night vision into, so you can film in daylight for UFOs and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, you can get different infrared filters and things to put in your camera.
Infrared filter, so you can put your night vision on, and then everything's just white. It looks like you're in a different world.
Yeah. So yeah, there's well, I've got to come down to Cornwall. I've been saying I'm going to come down. We'll check out that hotel.
Yeah.
You've got a few more people watching now because I told everybody I was going to be over here. So there's a few more viewers for you. Look.
Hello, everyone. We're in
112.
We're in space right now.
Hello, Hecubus.
Are you going to Bodmin?
Might do. This is
May.
remind me now. Remind me.
May.
You've organised this, right? When is it again? Let me see if I got it in my diary. Sorry, I'm full of cold as well.
Yeah, don't say the day.
Okay.
I'll WhatsApp it to you.
Okay, yeah.
Bloody trolls.
Let me see if I could. Oh right, I've got the date. Yeah, I've just done a search for it on my. Yeah. Well, I certainly would like to. So.
We're there all night.
Yeah, that'd be good fun.
So if you came in the day, you could do the hotels and stuff.
Hey, we've got Claire, Urban Paranormal TV, is in as well.
Where's my chat gone?
You haven't met Claire, have you, yet?
No, Claire.
I think did I mention you might want to mention this event to her because she does paranormal stuff and maybe you guys could do a joint paranormal thing. She does pretty much the same sort of thing. She does ghost box recordings, gets recordings coming through. She had a really weird one the other night, quite direct, really clear audio.
Is that Claire with the number you passed on to me?
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't had time to do it yet. Yeah, I will add you, Claire. Sorry, I haven't been well. Yeah, I did like that house that she went to. Got some good responses.
Yeah.
If you can make that one, if you could come in the daytime, you could do the hotels and stuff. Get your ladder. You can go into that other hotel. It's all boarded up.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Just have to have a look now how far they are away from each other. Yeah. And
right next door to each other, really.
Yeah, probably. Oh, it's only 20 odd miles. 20 miles. Yeah, that's not too bad at all.
What's 20 miles?
From Bodmin to where the hotels are.
Yeah.
Not that far.
Yeah, that's going to be a weird night. That's going to be crazy in there, Bodmin. I haven't been there for years. I just reckon since they've put all those millions and millions of pounds into making that hotel, that it would have stirred up so much energy. The old naval wing is what's the hotel now, but the original Bodmin prison is still intact, and that goes like 5 layers. The dungeon bit is the worst. It's pitch black down there. It's really creepy. They used to stick kids down there and everything. So, it's the only still fully functional hangman's thing there in the UK. What did he call it? The gallows.
Yeah.
It's the only. It's the only one that's working in the UK. It's fully working still. And then on the wall is a list of all the people that were hung, even kids and stuff. Oh. To think people used to gather as a Sunday little treat to watch people get hung for stealing a sheep or something. Or a loaf of bread. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I get hung for somebody else's crimes. I would have thought a lot of the time as well. I get sort of collared in and beaten until they've got a submission. Not a
100%.
submission, an admission. Beating them into submission till they get a confession. That's the word I was looking for. Confession.
Well, it's like the witch trials, isn't it? You know, if you was innocent, you'll end up floating. If you were guilty, you'd sink. Oh, I don't know. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's why I want to go to Edinburgh this winter. There's a big history still intact of where they used to burn people on stakes and hang them. I didn't realize they actually burnt people in the UK. I thought they just hung them, but they did actually burn them.
Yeah. No, that's probably earlier, even earlier. They used to burn them. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Have you been to Edinburgh? Have you?
Driven through it. I've seen the castle up on the thing. Never went to the castle, but yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to go there. Edinburgh, love it. Have you actually had paranormal experiences when you have, haven't you? You've actually thought
Yeah.
things were happening.
Yeah, I mean, there's that place in Bristol which I'd like to take you to, but we'll have to see whether or not the people have been dragged out of that place now, because they were squatting it, and it's an old Freemasonic place that they used to meet upstairs in these rooms, and it was like a Freemasons place, and it was one of the oldest pubs in Bristol. We went in there and we've had some really weird things, like, sort of like all the sound just go out of the room, and then everything went cold, and then sort of like doors slam, bang, and so like things like that. It's quite, put the shits up us, and it was weird because people had been drawing Cthulhu on the walls, which is a character from H.P. Lovecraft, which I know is it's a fictional thing. But I said, well, let's just sort of like see whether it brings any energies in if I start sort of like calling out for Cthulhu. And weird shit was happening, even though it was kind of like it's a fictional character. I just wanted to see what would sort of happen. And yeah, that's on my channel. We got that one.
I was surprised when we was up at Crowley's house, so you knew all those symbols on the floor and everything, what they meant. I was like, how do you know all this? So what?
Yeah.
That's mental.
You've just gone very echoey, so I don't know whether your mic's disconnected.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, now I can, yes. Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, to the side of the mic, it sounded like you were in the back of the room then.
1, 2.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it's working. It must be one of those mics that you've got to be right in front of it, haven't you?
Yeah, it's. I need to sort it out. I can turn up the gain and stuff on it. I need to sort it out.
No, I thought it had switched off or gone to your laptop or something. No, it's just working. Sorry, mate, my bad. Just you were sounding very distant then for a second, but yeah. Yes, that's right. Gary Newman reminds us I had my pants pulled down.
Yeah.
In that experience, which
That's mad.
I know people are going to think that that's a piss take, but I mean, like the joke was on me, I can assure you, because that's just bizarre, and more bizarre because I mean, people will say like, "Oh, it must have just been, your trousers were loose or something like that." And it's like, no, I had 2 pairs of trousers on, and it pulled it down over the trousers that were there. So it's like that was kind of the impossible bit. It's not like I had my underpants showing and I would like, it pulled one set of trousers over another set of trousers because we had 2 sets of trousers on. We were dressed up in suits, like looking a bit like funny. So that was really weird. And how could it pull it over the other trousers with them in place? It's almost as if it had teleported them over the bit, because to get them to come round, they'd have to come around the stuff that was in my pockets. And I pulled them up and I tightened them up and I said, right, you try and pull those trousers down. You can't, because it locked onto what was in my pockets. So how could it pull them down and around and down without me feeling it? It's almost like as if, you know, like when they say things go through walls, it's almost like my trousers had gone down past the things that were in my pocket, just pulled down, which was bizarre. That bit I can't understand. I mean, yes, the whole thing, like how does something pull your trousers down like that? But even weirder, how does it pull your trousers down without you feeling it?
Yeah.
You know, because it would have been a hell of a lot of force. It would have bounced over the stuff that was in the pockets. Didn't feel anything.
It's hard to get me. I can't get my head around that. How that's even possible.
No, very bizarre. Yeah, it was in a hospital in Bristol. It's called the Royal Infirmary, and it was a children's hospital. We were in the basement near the morgue. We didn't get anything in the morgue apart from a chemically smell, which I think might have been, you know, just the smell of, I don't know, formaldehyde and things have probably been in there, and maybe, you know. But when we went out to the corridor, who was with us now that had a spirit box? It was Carl. Yeah, Carl had his spirit box thing, and he put up the end, and I was saying, well, are there any children's spirits in you? You know, any children in you? You know, sort of. And then his box started going off, really going off, not just a little bit, like full maxing out. And I said, oh, so you're down here then? I said, are you a child spirit or something like that? And then I had a ball, and I was like, I threw the ball, and I was like, you know, go on, throw the ball back to us, throw the ball back to us. And I was expecting something like that to happen, you know, like some sort of reaction from it. But it was like I got this different reaction. It's like, I'm going to pull your trousers down.
Yeah.
And then I just got the feeling that was like a child spirit, you know, like a child that used to like try to pull the doctor's trousers down, you know, and it was like it was his joke, you know, sort of thing. I just got that impression, and then we were laughing there, we were joking with it. We were like, oh, you like to pull people's trousers down, and then the thing was going and it's like, yeah, you know, so
it was like a childish thing. Yeah,
childish spirit, you know. Yeah.
Okay, Scott, I'll listen back later. No, I've never experienced that. How that can actually physically happen, you know, as you're explaining it. I don't know how it's possible. I mean, are they actually inside your pants when it's happening? I mean, or the inside you? It's crazy.
Yeah, I just get the feeling that it was a child, and by talking to it like in a comic sort of like, you're very naughty, you shouldn't be down here, should you? What are you doing down here? What? And we was like, you know, sort of, and just talking down at that sort of like kiddie level, and then that happened, and I just thought it was so bizarre. I mean, I was hoping that one day and would say like, I remember working in that hospital, and we had a child there who maybe passed on or something like that, used to be like start pulling people's trousers down, and also used to maybe like going in the basement, like going where it wasn't meant to go, you know, get out in the corridors and be like, I'm going in the basement, you know. And I wondered why we had the dog there once with us as well, and I don't think the dog picked anything up. I even wondered whether the dog might have maybe scared stuff off, because, you know, maybe the dog was, you know, something that would scare the ghosts away. I don't know. Yeah, but we didn't get anything the second time. Yeah. He said, somebody saying, "Is there gay ghosts?" Well, maybe that's why they were attracted to me. But I don't want any gay kid ghosts. That's all I can say. I go, no, I don't want to be stuck in ghost pedo jail. Thank you. No.
Oh my god. The ghost nonce.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. You'll get a name for yourself, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know. I mean, it seemed like the type of jokey thing a child might do, you know, trying to pull your trousers down, and yeah.
But you felt your zip as well going.
I can't exactly remember now. I'll have to look back at what happened, but it was almost like as if it just went very quickly, very smoothly down, just dropped straight down, you know. And it was I didn't feel anything yanking me at the top where the trousers were. They just slid down, just slid down.
But isn't that a thing
glided
that
down.
kids would have done all that time ago, where they just run up to someone and try to yank the trousers down and
Yeah.
then run away? I've had that happen to me when I was a kid. In my shorts.
Yeah.
Does
I've
it
had it a
qualify?
few times, jumping into like diving into swimming pools, and your things come halfway down your thing, so you got your arse and your cock are out. You're quickly like you stop swimming and you're like pull them back on. It's like Jesus, you know.
Seen that one?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. Worst one's when you get in the pool with your trunks on or your shorts, and then the air bubbles come up through your pants, and someone thinks you farted.
Yeah.
It's not me. It's the air coming out.
Gone Wrong says, does this qualify as a necrophiliac? No, because I think necrophilia is actually having sex with dead bodies, but
Yeah.
I don't know whether a ghost would count as being, you know, well, we didn't have sex, no, it was, yeah.
Not that you're aware of, anyway.
Not that I'm aware of, no. I might have been a few grams lighter of liquid, but yeah, I didn't feel that good either. No.
Wasn't any ectoplasm on your bottom or anything, no.
Some spirit might have left me, but I didn't. I wasn't aware. Yeah.
Done his dirty deed and fucked off.
Mm.
Oh God.
I always said that'd be quite. I don't know whether I'd be like against this type of experience. I know people, quite a few people. In fact, an author called Nick Redford told me that he used to get experiences with waking up at night, and there would be something like shagging him, you know, riding on him, and
Yeah.
he would be, and he wouldn't be able to like stop it, you know, and he would sort of be terrified. He's you know, he writes about paranormal stuff and ghosts, but he used to call it the old hag. This was the terminology that used to be used for it, but it's like a spirit that literally comes and has sex with you at night, you know, when you're in bed.
Succubus.
Yeah, incubus and succubus. Yeah.
That's what the guy that owned the ancient Ram Inn, don't know if you've ever been there. He was called John Humphreys. It happened to him virtually every night. He said, when I actually met him, got to the point where he was just numb to it, but he just lied there with his Bible on his chest, just like praying and praying. But yeah, I do believe that actually happens to people. And you've got those ones that actually are asleep. I don't know what you call it, sleep paralysis, where they can't move and things are happening to them. God.
I've had sleep paralysis a couple of times where I've woken up and I've been aware that I can't move. And it's kind of like I've been forcing myself to move, you know, like move. And it's kind of like you sort of just, boing, you just break out of it. It's like it just clicks off and suddenly you can move, you know, and I've had that a couple of times. I've had something like felt like it was pressing down on my chest as well. You know, I remember waking up once to that.
The hell.
Yeah.
There's loads of people that have experienced that.
Roughneck Adventure says had sleep paralysis with a shadowy figure at the bottom of bed with dagger-like claws.
Oh my God.
As I say, I've woken up a couple of times and not paralysis, but woken up, and in the darkened room, I've seen like a shadowy figure, and I've been like, right, I'm not taking my eyes off that. I'm not going to flinch. I'm not going to blink. I'm fucking not taking my eyes off that. I'm not going to take my eyes off that. And then fucking I have blinked and it's gone, and it's fucking not there anymore. It's like blink and it's gone. And I've had one that dissolved. And I also in a place that was owned by it was down near Stonehenge, Amesbury Village, and it was a policewoman, And she came up on the hills when we were doing sky watches for UFOs, and she just drove up and she's just, oh, like, just checking everything's okay. Like, I saw lights on up here, and it was like, yeah, no, come in and have a chat, like, talking about UFOs and things. And she told me that she had a ghost in her house, and that she had a well in her house. And I was going, oh yeah, right, the well, the gateway to hell. They do talk about spirits sort of coming in and out of like water and wells and things like that. So I said, yeah, so what deal? And she said, well, yeah, she said, well, she said, well, this sort of spirit is in the house, and I kind of know that it's there. I've heard things and felt things, and I just wondered if anybody wanted to kind of like look into it. And I said, well, okay, well, again, I said, okay, I'll come down and I'll have a look into it. And so I spent the night there on her couch, by the way, and so sleeping there. And she did warn me. She said, well, I've got cats. I said, I'm saying well all the time now. Probably say it all the time. Don't realize now I'm paranoid about saying the word well. Right. So, yeah. So anyway, she said, I've got these cats, but don't worry, she said, because they don't like people. They're very sort of like anti-people. They'll hang around me, but if anyone comes in, they go. So she said, you won't see them, or you shouldn't see them, but you might hear them. They might sort of come in, but once they realize you're there, they'll leave again. They're not interested. So I woke up in the middle of the night, and there were either one or two of these cats were on me, like on my chest, and they were sort of like scramming me, well, not scramming me, like, rubbing me and pawing at me and sort of, moving around, and basically weren't sort of sat still. They were kind of like, doing things. And I was like, oh, okay. So I sort of like woke up and I'm like, oh, hello, cats. I thought to myself, I thought you cats don't like people. So I'm sort of looking at these cats now, and I look over into the corner of the room, and there's a black figure standing there.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa, that's a bit weird. So I'm like looking at it, and again, I'm like, right, don't take your eyes off it. Don't take your eyes off it. These cats are on me still, and they're making a fuss. And this thing just dissolved out. And the moment it dissolved, cats jump off me, run out the kitchen, and gone.
What?
Yeah. So and I told her about it in the morning. And I've seen these shadowy figures a few times. I've seen them in one other time I can remember about. I went to stay at somebody's house who said they had ghosts there. Reg Presley's daughter, it was, the wild thing, wild thing. You make my heart sing. The guy who sang that is his daughter. Went to stay in her house because she said she had ghosts and weird things. So we actually slept in her room on the floor. So we put beds in there because she said these things were happening in her room. So we slept there on the floor. And we hadn't even gone to sleep. We were just chatting, talking with the lights off in the dark, and we were just talking. And I was looking, and I said, "Are you seeing this?" And I said, "What?" I said, "I've got a black figure standing at the end of your bed now. Are you seeing this?" And they said, "You what?" And I said, "Don't turn the light on." I said, "Don't turn the light on." I said, "Can you see it?" And they're like, "No." And I said, "Well, I'm staring straight at it right now." And they were like, what? And I'm like, yeah. I said, it's not going anywhere. I said, if you can't see it, I said, turn the light on, but turn the light straight back off. So they turned the light on, and I basically closed one eye like that, right? Closed one eye. I said, turn the light on then. So I turned it on, turned it off, and then I opened the eye so that it wasn't affected by the light, shutting your eye down sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's just gone.
Wow.
So something was there in the darkness. That was interesting.
That's mad. Well, is it like a full human, like adult sort of?
Just a shadow of it, like the outline. Like you get the outline, but with no detail, not like no face. I always see they're always like a shadow figure, and there's no face there or any clothing or anything. Just like blackness, like black outline figure.
That's mad.
Yeah.
I remember because he's into all the UFOs, isn't he? That Reg Presley bloke. Well,
yes.
he used to be.
Well, he was.
Is he still alive?
Yeah. No.
Oh, what? No. Matt's just gone. Matt's just frozen.
I'm back now, I think. Yeah.
Mm.
There we are. Kerno says we've seen shadow figures like a fog. Yeah. That's what it is. It's not like a severe outline, like a cut out outline. It's like it blends off. It's like it shades off.
Yeah.
You know, so it is like you could describe it like a fog, you know, because it sort of dissipates on the edge, you know. But it's definitely like a shoulders, arms, goes back in waist, legs, you know. But it's there. You can see the roundness of the head. I mean, it's definitely a humanoid standing there figure, you know. Something I get a lot, but I'm sure this is just like a brain schism type thing. And I had it this morning, right? I hear the doorbell going, right? But it's not the doorbell. And it's like I hear the doorbell going, and but it's not, because the doorbell is louder and it rings off. It's sort of like it goes ding ding, right? But when this happens, it's always a bit quieter. It's like ding ding, like that.
Wow.
And that happened this morning. This happens quite a bit, and I don't know what it is. Whether my brain is kind of saying, "You're probably going to get somebody's going to ring the door soon." My brain's probably thinking, "Oh, is it that time of the morning? You're going to get the door ringing," and then like suddenly my brain puts that idea in there, and I hear the sound, but it's not real, you know. But I'm interested by the way the brain can kind of put things like that in your, you know,
Yeah.
in your, yeah.
So I was at a place called Kennel Vale last week. It used to be a gunpowder mill in the 18th century, and then there's a big explosion, and they ceased working there, and then nature took over, and we had all sorts coming through. But Scott, who comes on the channel, actually captured what looks like a shadow figure multiple times, and you can actually, I'm standing still, and you can see me standing still, but you can see this blackness moving. So I fully understand that. I was sat down on the bench and actually felt something black go straight through me and over me, and I actually jumped up and ran to my camera, and that's when it all started. I can shit myself.
Bloody hell. Somebody said that the term for that thing that I'm getting with sounds is called audio pareidolia.
Yeah, you get a lot of that. But how can it be audio pareidolia if you're actually conscious and hearing it? Or are you in a semi-sleep state?
Semi-sleep state. But I tell you something else that used to happen. Again, this is not something that happens a lot, but it's never happened here, but it used to happen in South Wales quite a bit. I'd be working, doing something like tapping on a keyboard, so my brain's fully active. I'm like writing articles for a magazine, so I'm like on the keyboard, and then I'd hear somebody go like, "Matthew," which sounds exactly the same as I would hear if because I was living at home at the time. It would be like, so my parents would be at the end of the stairs and they'd shout out "Matthew" for something like food's ready or something like that. So I'd be tapping away and I'd be like, "Matthew," and I'd be like, "Yeah, okay." So I come to the top of the stairs. I go, "What? What?" There's no one there. So I like walk down the stairs. What? There's no one there. So I walk to the kitchen. I go, "What do you want?" And they go, "No, what do you want about?" So when you just called me, and they're like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "Really?" This happened a number of times. So I'd literally go in there and go like, "You just called me." No, I'm just like, it was clear as a bell, like, you know, it was really clear. I was like, "What the fuck's that about?" But and I had things being knocked thrown, like stones thrown at the window. Now I know that my mates used to do this, right? My mates used to sort of come to the lane, they'd throw a stone at the window, then I'd come out, open the back gate, let them in, and sort of like, you know, because I had a door in my room, like a patio doors in my bedroom. So I just come and let them in. And then, so I was used to this. So it was nothing weird about it. You know, it was no, like, you'd hear a stone, I'd go and let my mates in. But then it would happen, and I'd go straight out there, and there'd be nobody there.
Wow.
I'd be like, "What the fuck's that?" So like, you know, then it would happen at like 3 a.m, and then a couple of times I'd sort of like don't want to do it too loud. You probably won't hear it because of my thing. But it'd be literally like on the window. So that meant that there was somebody outside the window now. So they'd have had to have climbed over a wall, jumped down, right? And they would be in the back garden. And it happened a few times. So I literally jump out of bed, open the door, look around. There's nobody there. Nobody could have run down the side of the house. I would have seen them. There's no one there. And the gate is locked. And like they would have been scrambling up the wall. And I would have heard them to jump over and get away. And it's like bang, 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 bang. Like that. One day it happened. And it used to always happen. It was weird as well. It was like this witching hour thing. It was always like 3:30 in the morning. It was always happening about like 3:30 in the morning. And I found out that that's like the witching hour.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that was kind of weird and interesting that something was going on, you know, something was happening.
That's
I used
crazy.
to have poltergeist activity in my place in Bishop's Cannings. I'd have stuff would be thrown off shelves. You know, it'd just go flying, and I'd be like, and I would say, come on, do it where I can see it. It would always be in my peripheral vision. It'd be like, you know, it'd always be like something up there like that, and then out of my peripheral vision, it'd be like that, and I'd be like, the fuck? And I'd go, no way, and I'd be, come on, then do it in my vision so I can see it. Wouldn't do it then, and it seemed like talking to it calmed it down or got rid of it, but like things have just like been moving around and falling off shit. That happened a lot in Bishop's Cannings, but I don't live there anymore. But I got used to that. A lot of times things happened there, you know. I used to be quite, you know, pleased that there was something there, but I wish that it would just show itself, like, you know, do it directly in front of me, just literally, like, you know, lift something up, just show me you're there, like, you know.
That's where most people who have paranormal experience actually see from the peripheral vision, things rushing past, and so I fully get that. I've experienced it myself. I've been in the toilet having a pee, and something's gone straight past me, and like, what the hell was that? You can actually see the shadow going past you, and it's moving so fast on a different frequency.
Yeah,
different vibration.
Animal person says they want to acknowledge. That's it. And I would talk to them. I'd say, like, you know, I'll do my best. I'm not frightened. I'm talking to you. I know you're there. I know you can do it. You know, you've obviously done it before. You know, try and show me. And this is where I get that I've got the impression that, you know, maybe things happen. I've said, I don't know if this was certain, but maybe things happen more when you're scared, because I don't know whether they feed off that energy. So the fact that I'm not scared by it is not a good thing for manifesting it, because unless you're scared, you're not feeding it. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know if that's a thing, but you know, that's the way my brain has kind of like made sense of it. It's like by not being scared and talking to it, it calms, it goes away. Whereas if I was like, fucking hell, I can't take this, it'd be like, you know, things really crazy shit like that. That guy who got pushed down the stairs in his pub, he was shitting himself. And then he goes into his room and his bloody kid is on the ceiling. Well, that's it. Like, it's game over, isn't it? You know?
No, fuck.
You know, but that's running a pure fear energy then, I would imagine. It's like it's feeding it, you know?
100%. God, you get pushed down the stairs, then you see your kid being pushed into the ceiling. What?
Sounds like that first episode of Supernatural, isn't it? That's something shit happened in there. I think one of the kids was on the ceiling and the room was on fire.
I can't remember. God, I used to watch that as well.
Supernatural, yeah. Used to like that. Maggie Davis says she wouldn't want that at her house. No. I mean, it depends, isn't it? I mean, I'm quite happy that there are things like this in the world that we don't understand, and there's, you know, potentially life after death and things. I think that's a good sign, you know. As long as these things aren't scaring you to death and ruining your life, you know. I mean, I think it's a great thing, really, to kind of be getting some sort of proof of that.
100%. And you know, from my experience, things can actually follow you as well. They can actually follow you home. I've actually experienced it. The smell is disgusting. It's like sulfur and just dirt, filth, and you get this like static electricity, which people who've also had alien encounters get as well, or UFO encounters. Is this electromagnetic surge of energy that is like nothing they've experienced before. I know we've got that inside us as well. We've all, I mean, it's everywhere, isn't it? Electromagnetic energies. But when there's a spirit around or close to you, it feels like a cobweb feeling over your face. I did do some studies on it years ago. The Native Americans call it the walk of the ant. So it is a well-known history going back thousands of years where they've experienced this static cobweb feeling. They call it the walk of the ant. So that's always stuck with me. It's like ants walking on your face.
And I mean, I know the skeptics and these like sort of paranormal researchers will say, well, you get that sort of thing when you're having a fit. Like if you're having an epileptic fit, you'll get a strong, like burning, sulfury type smell. Something very acrid. And it's associated with having like seizures and fits and things like that. And so, of course, because people who have fits, they have that. They say, oh well, if you have a ghost and you smell sulfur, oh well, clearly then you're just having a fit. So they've tried to kind of marry these two things together. It's like, well, if I was having a fit, I'd probably remember. I'd probably know about that. I'd probably be on the floor, like going, oh, how did I get down here? Like, I mean, but they try to marry the two things together. They say, oh, people who say they see UFOs, they smell sulfur and then they see a UFO. So it's clearly they're having a mental problem, like at that particular moment. And it's like, well, no, maybe for a long time people have said witchcraft, you smell sulfur with witchcraft and spirits. Maybe it's not all you're having a fit and now we can scientifically explain it. Maybe there is something that comes from that realm.
Yeah. And amazingly as well, and this is true, centuries ago, they started to diagnose people that were experiencing these things, like smelling sulfur and stuff and hearing voices as schizophrenics. And to this day, schizophrenia has one of the conditions of smelling sulfur. So how many of these people are actually witnessing real paranormal events and are being classed as mentally ill and put on medication for the rest of their lives?
Yeah. Mick Dunn says he is hearing growls in his room. Hopefully not right now, but when do you hear them? Tell us more. Oh, Christ, that went down the wrong way.
You're snuffing again.
Yeah.
Matt's on the snuff.
Yeah, I need to go and get myself a another can of beer, if you don't mind. Can I just go and sort that out?
Help yourself.
Yeah. Mental lubricant. Oh.
See the thing that Scott sent me, if it's still there. Some noise or something. Don't know if it's still there. Let me have a look. Oh, he's unsent the bloody thing. He's unsent it. What the fuck? I have a spirit near me at the moment. Oh, God. Mick hears spirits all the time. You heard a growl, did you, Mick? I heard them quite often, he says. God. What, in your bedroom or just in the house? That's mental.
Mm.
Via the growl, I think I shit
Your
myself.
voice.
Hey?
Captured a clear voice whilst we're on live tonight. Pretty creepy. Was it on the live stream, was it? You'll have to make a recording of that.
Well, apparently it was recorded and but it's been unsent. It was sent to me and it's unsent, so I don't know. I don't even know if it was while I was out making a cappuccino or whether I was in the room. Was it through the ghost box? I have no idea.
Send it over. Send it over. Yeah, I mean, one thing I learned years ago from people that were into the paranormal, and you don't hear it talked about a lot on these ghost programs either, really. I mean, it's not sort of something that people talk about, but I put some sort of I put something into this. I think it does mean something, but it's the most overlooked thing when you go into a building like an urbex place or somewhere that's abandoned, and people say like, "Oh, it feels like ghostly in here. It feels weird. It feels like, oh, it's kind of got that atmosphere." And what they're picking up on is they're picking up on a feeling, an actual emotion. But what they then ignore, and everyone ignores every time they go into a place like that, smells.
Yeah.
And it's one of the biggest, most overlooked thing about places, because the smell of a place comes back from the past, or it's trying to tell you something. And we that place that I lived in, where I said I had that patio doors, that place, the smell of weird smell, because they used to breed dogs, and they used to breed them in that room that I was in. And it would be like, for no apparent reason, I'd be sitting there, and all of a sudden, woof, this fucking strong, like dirty dog smell, like dank kind of smell, funky smell, and it would just like be like woof, would fill the room. And I don't know why I would be getting the smell like that, but it was almost as if I was smelling that the dogs were in that room, that they were there, and then it would be gone, and then it wouldn't be there for weeks or months, and then it would be like boof, and then it would be there again, like bang, smell,
Wow.
would come. And I believe that the smells are definitely something that people overlook. They just go, dog spunk, yeah, exactly. Or yeah, or dog shit, more likely, more dog shit and piss, I would have thought. But yeah.
That's what I said to you when you went to that Plymouth Buffalo Club.
Mm.
Because you was going on about a smell there, and I said something to you on WhatsApp about it. And then when you thought about it, you thought, well, it couldn't have been shit. Because you checked your shoes and everything.
Mm.
I was asking you if there was like a sulfur smell or like the smell of dirt and things like that. Because that's what was getting my juices going for wanting to visit the place.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. Taffy says, I smelt something and it was so unusual. Try not to be funny. Yeah, it was so unusual. Where did you smell this, Taffy? Sorry. Yeah. You have to give us a bit of context. Perhaps I don't always read all the comments, mate, but yeah. So they were telling me that when they go into a place, that they pick up on the smells, of whatever's there, is trying to communicate to them through smell,
Yeah.
and they pick up on it. But 9 times out of 10, people will just walk into a place and they'll just go like, "Oh yeah, this place smells like shit," and then they'll go, "Oh, I'm not getting any spirits. I'm not getting any spirits in here. I'm not feeling anything." But it's like, but they've already overlooked. They walked straight into it. This place smells.
Yeah.
But people don't think like that. They kind of put it to the back of their mind. And the funny thing is about smell, although we as humans, we don't smell with our noses as well as animals do, that we can't like hunt out food, and we can't do things like that. What people don't realize about smell, and this is true in the animal world and the human world, is apparently it's the first sense you're born with, right? And it's the last sense you have when you die. Because even when your eyes have shut down like that, right, and you're not feeling anything, you can still smell. People report, it's one of the last, it's the first and last sense you have. And the reason animals have it when they're born, even when their eyes are closed and they literally can't walk, where's the food? Where's my mother? Where's the teats? Where's the smell?
Yeah.
Tits, milk,
Yeah.
It's the first smell you need, Some animals, like kangaroos, they're born and they have to crawl up the outside of their mother, and they're premature. It's a premature birth. The kangaroo Joey, it's like, and they have to crawl up the outside of their mother, and they go by smell, and they go into the pouch, but it's
Yeah.
all done by smell, you know?
Yep.
And I think it's probably one of the most overlooked sort of things, really. Yeah.
And it would have been something that was strongly used back in our earlier days of mankind, for sure, 100%. But we've changed, we've adapted, and it's like, I think you're quite a sensitive person. If you're, from your experiences that you're telling me, the reason I say sensitive, it's a word they use in America, for instance, is when you can actually feel a presence around you, or you're experiencing something that's not of the norm. Like, you've had experience of the smells, you've seen shadows going past you, you've seen shadows in front of you, you've had voices. I would say that you was very tuned in, very sensitive, and very aware that something can or could exist, that you don't totally write it off, and that, a lot of people, they just don't think these things are actually real. I mean, how many people who believed in UFOs generations ago were mocked and laughed for years and years? People in the military that went absolutely round the bend because they was being mocked, but now it's officially recognized as existing by the military. So, who's if that is now recognized as officially being something that exists, they don't know if it's like a robotic sort of form, like what do you call it, the drone, sort of like a drone coming in, if it's being used by some intelligence not of this earth. But they are 100% certain that these things are not from this planet. But years ago, generations ago, they used to laugh at these people, same as they do at paranormal people. But there you go.
Yeah, I'm looking back at. Yeah, I'm hearing growls in my room, and he says I hear them a lot. This is Mick Dunn, and then he said something else. Let me just have a look down here. He says, "What happened was according to my guide, apparently many years ago in my current home." I don't understand quite what you're meaning there, but yeah, interesting. Like, picking up animals, hearing growling and.
So they do say that people that become really aware of spirit, or people that have been through really traumatic experiences, and they've just been shocked, and it's just opened them up to a totally different vibration. Mick, for instance, he's had some really bad things that have happened in his life, so I can 100% believe that he is experiencing something. You should try and record it, Mick. Get yourself some night vision cameras, set them up.
Maybe do what Claire does, and I know Mark does, is get a little recorder and just ask a question, or maybe if you think it's dogs, maybe just try and woof, just go like woof woof yourself, and then listen to the recording and see if anything comes back. Maybe something for you, it'd be interesting. Interesting to try it.
Taffy's got the same stuff and feelings. There you go.
What did he say, Taffy? That explained a lot of my stuff and feelings. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think it's a problem to kind of like talk to it and sort of, if you think there's something there, just say like, all right, come on, make yourself known, show me something, leave me a message. It's like there's all sorts of things you could do. I mean, like, if you're really into it, I mean, I don't do enough, but I mean, you could leave out. So you could put talcum powder down, and see whether anything makes marks or touches, and see if the talcum powder moves.
That's a good idea.
You can put sand on a big plate and leave it on the side and see whether there's any marks in it in the morning. There's lots of little things like that, and Taffy says that he's had a lot of bad past trauma. Yeah. Yeah.
Taffy's had the same thing as Mick then, yeah. Myself, I mean, we've all had trauma sometime in our life. Depends what level of trauma you've gone through. But yeah, from what I've discovered, because for years I was in a private circle away from YouTube because I wanted to know if it was real. I grew up experiencing things as a kid, and I was like, I want to know if this is actually real, and that's why I do what I do today. But for years, I was in a private circle with a woman who was an ex nun. She was a Catholic nun, and she was having experiences, and she left. She left the order. She ended up getting married and had children, and became a clairvoyant. She went to the psychic school of study in London, so she was well tested. And I can remember sitting there on my first night thinking, yeah, okay. And I'm here, and she's to my left, and she's gone into a trance, and I had her then, and my whole body had an electric surge coming from it, from this woman. I was like, oh my God, what's all this about? So I knew something was actually real. That's what convinced me there and then. You know, it's like, I don't know if you ever done it. I mean, I've done it, stupid enough. Years ago, I'd put my finger in the light bulb thing, and you'd get electric shock. That's what it was like. It's just this surge.
I've not done that on purpose because that's quite a kick and nasty kick you get there.
Yeah, yeah. It's quite a nice feeling, though. Oh, I just survived it.
Well, it's weird just saying that. There's that guy who's got all those like superhuman powers. I think he's Russian, but he can just hold on to the electric and it not kill him. He can just hold on to it, and he can self magnetize himself as well. Like he can put his hand over something and nothing happens, and then he can say, right, now I'm magnetizing myself, and it'll just come up with him. He can just lift things up, magnetic.
Yeah.
He's got all these like superhuman sort of powers to do stuff.
I think I've seen that. People putting spoons and stuff on him.
Yeah.
I think it was Carl Pilkington, Idiot Abroad.
He can literally put his finger on a piece of paper on wood and get static, and he can actually burn his name with his finger.
Wow.
He can sort of like get static coming off him, cut through paper, like zzz, cut through paper with his finger. Static. Yeah. Taffy says he stuck his penis in the plug socket.
Wow.
I nearly stuck my penis in a fat black woman once, but we didn't talk about that one. Yeah. But I bottled it. I bottled it.
Oh, just give me a vision of that Little Britain. In a big towel. Oh. More champagne, darling.
See, Mick seems to be having more stuff now. He says demons are real. He was attacked in his bed by a female sex demon, which is what we were talking about earlier on, incubus and succubus. And 7 years ago, it was very frightening. So were you able to move at the time? Were you paralyzed, or what was actually taking place there? Were you fully conscious? Yeah.
Ian Lawman, I believe, he does have a gift. Yeah. Ian Lawman's a psychic, celebrity psychic. But he used to be a proper fighter, bare fist. That was his living, and something happened to him. Maybe he got knocked unconscious, and he started to have visual experiences.
Mm.
The other one, I can't remember his name. There's an American geezer. What's his name? He's got blonde hair. There was a documentary of Gail. Was it Gail Porterman? Do you remember her? She went bald. She lost all that. She was Scottish girl.
All right.
Gail Porter, I think she was called. And she ended
Right.
up doing this supernatural documentary thing about, I think it was called Dead Famous. Yeah, that's what it was called, Dead Famous. I don't know if it's on YouTube, but if it is, look the one up about John Wayne, because right at the end, they're outside and they call for the spirit of John Wayne, and it's in night vision, and this gigantic grey ball appears, and it looks exactly like John Wayne's face. I'll never forget it. It's incredible.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, Dead Famous. I was well into that. I think they've done 2 series of it. It was after that where she lost her hair. She went through some traumatic experiences actually filming it. She got alopecia for it.
Right. And she's
I was awake.
get Will Smith to protect her.
I can't get over that.
Happy slappy.
He's just woke up on the stage and fuck off. Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I mean, that could have been handled in so many different ways.
Well, I was
You know.
expecting to say, well, she was happy to have my cock in it last night, or something like that. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
He did actually say, didn't he? He said, "Oh, I could have."
I could go much further. Like I think he was going to say, I could no, but I'm not going to. Yeah. I'm surprised the security didn't come up to Will Smith after that and just stop him getting up again. You know.
I think they were afraid.
It makes you think as well, because you'd think there would be security down near the stage to kind of make sure that something doesn't kick off, like somebody hasn't got a gun or some sort of shit. I mean, this is the Oscars after all, you know?
Oh, there you go. Jackie just put it in. Chris Fleming. That's it. Yeah. Dead famous Chris Fleming. Thank you, Jackie.
Roughneck Inches says he's had sleep paralysis with an old hag ripping my clothes and stomach apart. But surely then, when you wake, were your clothes ripped and your stomach obviously is not going to be ripped because you're still talking to us now, So what's the deal there then? Sort of like you feel like the clothes are being ripped, or you kind of seeing it, but then you click out of it and that hasn't happened, but you're feeling like it's happening. It's like a real physical, visceral experience. Yeah.
See, this sleep paralysis, it can actually ruin your life. I got a friend whose brother was a professional boxer, David Price. He was a heavyweight boxer, and he suffered with it since childhood. And by the time he got to his name was like up there, and he was fighting for the British title and everything, he started to get it more and more and more, and it would just weaken him. He'd have no energy. The time he'd get into the ring, he was just destroyed before he even threw a punch. And I'm sure that's what actually ended his career. And it wasn't just him. It was him and his sister that actually had it every night of their life since childhood.
Exploring with Pete says there's if anybody wants to see this guy with the electric finger, there's a thing called Stan Lee's Superhuman. He says it's on YouTube, and he says you can see the man with the electric finger and many more. So it's like superhuman people. So Stan Lee's Superhuman, if anyone wants to look that up, it's worth looking at. It's like shows you that science can't explain.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Andrew Clark, he said there was a woman who got pregnant by her dead husband ghost.
There was a what?
A woman who got pregnant by her dead husband ghost.
What? I've never heard of that one. I don't believe that. I don't believe that somehow.
Yeah.
I mean,
did she get ghost support from the other side, like child support?
That's something for Jeremy Kyle.
She was like, I know I was getting child support from the other side because it was be all this money in my bank, but when I go to draw it out, it was all gone. It's like ghostly money from the other side.
It was in the USA a few years back. So, somehow I just don't believe that for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Liam Barrow says immaculate conception. Well, I would sort of call it. I would call it faulty contraception. But, yeah.
Phantom pregnancy. Oh, so she didn't actually have a child. She just got
Oh,
pregnant. Is that what you're saying?
it's called a phantom pregnancy. Well,
Yeah.
I would imagine if she got pregnant, then that's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's there's phantom pregnancies. Yeah, you sort of start to show signs. Maybe you fill up with water, but you're not actually doing anything. Yeah, Snazzy Shazzy says turkey baster. I'm glad it's a woman who just brought the tone down there. It just shows it's not just blokes that keep on with the dirty jokes. Look, I mean, come on.
Turkey baster.
Mhm.
That was a joke. Lady Knight said that. Okay.
Makes me feel like not so bad now when I come out with the filthy stuff. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, hello. Gone Wrong Doll says all the cups in my friend's Welsh dresser did a 180 degree, i.e., the names were turned to the weird, all at once while we were scared shitless. Whilst we were scared shitless, peering out from behind the door. So somebody must have scared them, and then all the cups just turned around the other way. That's pretty mad.
Wow.
Mm.
I've seen a few experiences of that.
Mm.
I've read a few experiences as well. A few experiences in Cornwall, people going into old cottages on holiday, going down to the kitchen in the morning, all the cupboard doors are open, pots and pans everywhere, cups are everywhere, but no one's in the house but them.
Mm.
There's no need to fear demons. They are in fact fallen angels who present themselves in grotesque form because they feed off the emotion of fear. There's no need to fear demons.
Wow.
Don't know about that.
Fallen angels, pretty powerful. Yeah.
The Watchers of the Skies. I mean, the Book of Enoch for me is all the proof I need that of UFO intelligence. Just reading the Book of Enoch that's why they kept so much out of the Bible from the Book of Enoch. It tells you about spacecrafts and everything, superhuman beings, and the Watchers, the sky, in the sky.
Nephilim. Yeah. Yeah, and the Watchers. Yeah.
The Nephilim. That was the children, wasn't it?
Nephilim. Yeah, were the giants. The giants interbred with normal humans, but some people said, were these giants kind of like the angels?
Yeah. That was the Watchers, the fallen ones.
Mm.
So it's claimed that they were like 8 foot plus, because you think giant. How can if you're looking at a giant saying 20 foot, how could something 20 foot be mixing with a woman that's 5'4", for instance?
I mean, I've been to lectures recently where they were talking about this race of beings, like down at Stonehenge, and they say you look at the bones, and these are like massive people. They're not the same size, and he's looking at the skulls as well, and they're saying that the skulls were more pointy. They were like the skulls went back in a point, and then the historians were saying, oh yeah, but that's just because people used to wrap their skulls, and wrap them up so they would make them like a point.
Yeah.
And they were saying, well, actually, maybe people did that because there were people who were really big whose heads did go like that. So then people start to mimic them. They go like, oh, they're the gods, so we're going to try and mimic the gods. But there are actually skulls which are shaped like that in large people. These. I'm thinking, is it called the Beaker people? I mean, that pops into my head. The Beaker people. Do they have pointed skulls? Hang on, let's just have a look. Beaker people, pointed skulls. Let me just see if I'm talking out my arse here now. Beaker people. Yeah. It's named. Yeah. Skeletons from Beaker people. Yeah, the infant head binding to produce long skulls. But this is this is their way to explain it away. They're going, oh no. They were just normal, but they used to sort of like bind their skulls, infants, to produce this long skull. It's
Coneheads. Well,
yeah, that's right.
see, that's another thing, isn't it? I mean, how can these ancient people who lived thousands and thousands of miles apart have the same form heads that they actually did from birth? Even their necks, making their necks go higher, which is still a practice today. I didn't know that. I didn't know that about Stonehenge. They found bodies like that.
I think there are, yeah. I've listened to talks given by. I think now her father was a Maria Wheatley. Her father was a master dowser, and she now looks into Stonehenge and things like that. But her father, Dennis Wheatley, I was like got quite excited when I heard that name. I went, "Your father's Dennis Wheatley? Fuck me! He wrote the fucking ride. What the devil rides out?" And she goes, "No, that's the other Dennis Wheatley." I was like, "Oh fuck!" So yeah,
They have found, haven't they, in God, Stonehenge, because you've got obviously the brick Stonehenge, the stone, but they found an older type circle made of wood. Have you heard about
yes,
that?
Woodhenge. Yeah.
Woodhenge. Has that actually been developed yet? Has it been brought up or?
Well, they know exactly where it was, and if you go there, if you visit it, it's just down the road from Stonehenge. It's signposted, like this way to Woodhenge. It's on the signposts. If you go there, then they've got all the marker posts in the ground where the wood would have been, so rotted away. But they know where it was. They've been able to work out exactly where it was, the shape and everything. So they've put it back. They've kind of put it there in visual form, so you can see where it would have been.
It's another thing, isn't it? I mean, again, thousands and thousands of miles apart. How did they come to develop these same exact sort of formations?
Yeah. And some of these stone circles and things like that even turn up in like North America, and there obviously was a land bridge. It might have been tens of thousands of years ago when there was more of an ice going across the north, and people used to get across, because they're not sure whether people used to use boats back in the past, but there's maps showing the Earth a long time ago, and it's showing the different continents. And it seems like we went through a dark age where people lost access to all this sort of stuff. We lost the knowledge about how the Earth actually is. But some people back, way back, they knew how the Earth was, and it's like we might have just lost a lot of knowledge, lost a lot of history, and yeah.
What's this? You can get electric shocks off things less dangerous than the mains. Electric fence is one example.
I did one of those the other day.
I've touched a few of them.
Yeah, I'm like I sort of like touch it and then go, it's not on, it's always fuck. It always like 10-second delay and then bang. I was like, oh shit. Taffy says he's looking for his meds.
Just looking for me meds.
Oh dear.
I'm still here, guys. I'm just looking for my...
Glad you're still with us.
Oh my god. You're funny you are, Taffy. Where you off this week?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna see Taffy in a few days' time.
All right.
I'm actually going somewhere with Taffy. I won't say where, but going with a guy called Gav. We're going to go and do a big explore, but I don't want to say where. I don't want to give anyone any, ideas. So yeah, Then probably going to go down and do some bunker stuff. We've got some bunkers I've never done before, and they're apparently quite extensive. Take about 4 hours, I've been told, to get all around
All
the
right.
bunker. So it's pretty big. So we're going to go and check that out.
Kerno's got a few bunkers down here for you as well.
Yeah. I know he's got a rotor bunker, which looks like it's had the side pulled off it. I wouldn't mind going and have a look at that. Yeah.
He's got quite a few he's found, haven't you, Kerno? Yeah, I can't listen to it, Maggie, because when he sent me it, it won't actually come. It just says, sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. So I think Facebook is just spamming it, putting it down as spam. That's the good thing of having WhatsApp, because it doesn't mess about. You can get the file straight away.
Well, maybe if he uploads it onto like his Google Drive or something, or he can send it with We Send It, send like large files, send it to his email address. Send it that way.
I'll speak to him later.
The only trouble with uploading stuff onto Facebook and WhatsApp is it owns the quality to then send it. So it's, in video terms, I mean, you end up with a crappy looking file, you know. So it's better to send it as an original with We Send It, or one of those services. Yeah.
Right. It's a good idea. I'll speak to Scott after. When I was a child, my stepfather would hold an electric fence, then hold my grandma's hand. She'd hold me and shock me. What the fuck? Why did they do that, Maggie? Was that a day out?
Yeah. I used to do that in school. I would take a transformer out of a radio or something like that, rip the transformer out, and I would connect it to a 9-volt battery. And when you connect it, you don't get any electric shock. But when you disconnect it, that's when you get the shock. There's like an electromagnetic force that sort of, it's like a flyback force.
Right.
And so basically what you do is you get somebody to hold both the wires, and you connect it and disconnect it, and they go, ah, and they get this nasty like little shock. It's not as painful as an electric fence, so you're not getting such a high voltage, but they get a little bump. But the good thing was then you could actually, I took it to school, and you could get a whole ring of people, like about 50 people, to all hold hands. All right, and then you get the 2 people in the middle, one to hold one side, one to hold the other. So it was going around the ring, and then you connect it and then disconnect it, and everybody goes, ah, and it's like 50 people go, ah. It's great. I used to love doing that.
Isn't it interesting when people proclaim not to like you on YouTube, and yet they come into your channel and start typing shit? You're just a secret fan. Fucking idiot.
What did somebody say just now? They said, don't get disillusioned. But
Don't
I don't
get
know
disillusioned. Yeah, one of my little trolls.
Yeah. Don't be disillusioned, but disillusioned by what? Disillusioned by the general melee of life? What? What am I? You have to explain yourself.
By me. Don't be disillusioned by me. Look into my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Yeah, he said it's in Gaza said it's induction caused by magnetic delay. Yeah. Yeah. Or magnetic decay. Yeah. But it's funny though, because it doesn't go there when you connect it, you don't get anything. But when you disconnect it, you do. So you'd imagine when you connect something, you'd get a movement of like induction come on the connecting it as well. But it only seems to be when you disconnect it. That's when you got the shock.
Yeah.
Weird.
Wow. You can now get a great shock from a defib.
Back EMF. And then somebody said it's not called back EMF.
My colleague must have fired about 12 foot.
Yeah, jumped about 12 foot because they got a charge off a defibrillator. Yeah.
Well, imagine that.
Mm.
Jeez. Taffy will be asleep soon. Oh, he's found his meds.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've had some other weird stuff happen. I don't know if I told you about, like one night I was up on, I used to lived in my car for 9 months on a hill, and so like I was just so fed up with fucking just general life and bollocks and things, and people were always up there. We doing sky watches and chatting about ghosts and UFOs. We used to love it. It was like great vibe, great times, So I was like living in my car. But like one night I was going to bed and I saw like a little light on top of this place called Adam's Grave. And it's like a hill and it comes up and then there's like a little nipple on the top of it. So it's like a little sort of like bump. And that was where my car was facing. I was actually like parked that way and you could look down over nice fields beneath you. And then there's Adam's Grave would be up the way. I just saw a little light and I thought, oh, somebody must be up there with a torch or something, oh, somebody's up on Adam's Grave, which is quite common. People used to walk up there at night because it was a great view, massive view of the valley, amazing. And I thought, oh, somebody must be up there. So I got my, so I got my binoculars and had a look and I could see like a figure up there and I could see that around him were dancing, all these people dancing around, like, like going around in a circle, like dancing around him, and they were sort of like all sort of like doing this sort of business and dancing. And I thought, fucking hell, it's a bit weird. And I thought, I can't really see very well with my binoculars. I can't see very well. I thought I'd get my night vision out. So I got my night vision out, and I was like looked up there, and I could see these people up there, and it looked like there was specks of light coming off them. There was like going, but the thing is, night vision is all about speckly light anyway. It's all a bit like that anyway. But it was like little sparks of light coming off them.
Wow.
I'm like, fuck me, what the fuck's going on here? I was like, so I thought, initially, I thought it was somebody like signaling to somebody who's making a crop circle. I thought there must be like sending them a little light, like it's okay, or something like that. Like it's okay, I'm up here, carry on, and then and then there's all of a sudden there's all these people dancing around. So I was watching this for a few minutes. I thought, well, who the fuck are they then? What's going on up there? What's going on up there? And then as I sort of like looked away and sort of changed back to the binoculars, I looked back up there. These figures were there, but now they were down at waist height. They were like little children.
What?
I was like, what the fuck? And there's just one bloke standing there, and all these figures were around him. Now they're like down like little children. And I was like, fuck me, I'm gonna go and have a look at this. So I got out the car, closed it, and I fucking ran with all of my energy. Fucking, it's about 5-10 minute run to get up this hill. So I fucking and I could see to the top of the hill, so I can see in front of me. I can see all the way. It's like, there's no trees or anything. It's just like I can see up that hill. So I'm like, run up there, run up there, run up there. Didn't pass anyone on the way down. There was nobody coming down the hill, and I got up there, and there was no one there. And now I'm at the highest point. I'm like at a vantage point. So I'm like looking around and there's nobody coming down the hill.
Wow.
And there was nobody there at all. And I was like quite, sort of heavy breathing because of the run up there. And I remember that it was just like the most amazing view out across the valley. It was like as if everything was illuminated. It was a moonlit night, but it was like the light was up. It was like everything was bright. I could see everything. The whole valley was lit. It was just like illuminated. And it was like, wow. And I remember saying to myself, fuck me, this is so pretty. This is so nice. And it's so illuminated. And I just wonder whether something wanted me to come up here. It was like, come and experience this, And I thought, well, I felt blessed, like, at that point. I felt like, I felt privilege, like, fucking like, wow, and I remember then as well, I could hear a sheep, and it was like in the distance, and like there was no noise, there was no wind, there was nothing. It was absolutely still, no wind, not a fucking nothing. It was just like everything was dead. The valley was illuminated, and I heard these sheep in the distance. And I thought, fuck me. And it was like, I knew they were far away because you could hear the echo, but it was like, shump, like as if it was the sound was brought to me. It was like very, very clear. So that was kind of weird. And I never did explain that. But I just saw this figure. I thought it was just one person on his own. Then these things that went down. So I thought that was a bit bizarre. So like one night.
So
So
that was definitely like a spiritual thing, you reckon?
I think it must have been something spiritual, because I don't know whether the figure was there and then he left, or whether he was never there. The whole thing was just, you know, some sort of visualization. But I mean, I was wide awake, and I was like quite, you know, like, what the fuck's going on up there? Like, you know, what's going up there? And it was a prolonged thing, you know, to the point where I'm like, right then. And I even got out my car, and I remember, because I didn't want them to like hear, so I pushed the car door closed and locked it, because I didn't want to go bang with the door, so they'd think, oh, somebody's coming. And I ducked down by the fence line, so I wouldn't be seen coming away from my car, just in case somebody was up there looking at me with binoculars. Because I kind of thought to myself, am I watching a fucking satanic ceremony or something like this as well? Am I watching people doing something right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
You know, and I want to see this. I want to go and see this. I want to fucking run up there and see what's going on. I want to just like, hello, you know. And it's like, no, I don't mean you. I literally would have said, like, I don't mean you any harm. I'll just fucking, I'll just stand and watch. Like, you know, I'll fucking quite cool with it. Just carry on, you know. Fucking, and that's what I was thinking. But it was the fact that they shrunk. I was like, what's that about? And I wasn't even sure. It might have been an optical illusion, or maybe they would just duck down lower, but it looked like they'd shrunk, like they'd actually shrunk. And that's what got me going. But yeah, got up there, there's nobody there.
I was going to say, was it like, what do you call it? A coven, something like that, until you carried on. Maybe it was some sort of old ancient druid. Was there stone around there, was there? Or was it just hills and grass? No
Well,
stone.
it's grass. It's grass, but they call it Adam's Grave because I think it was a lookout point, because it was like one of the highest points, and it was a lookout point. So you'd have had like a little encampment up there. You know, they had these encampments in places, and just down the road, believe it or not, just like a stone's throw, like less than half a mile away, was the earliest settlement in the United Kingdom, was discovered down the road. There is nothing earlier. This is the earliest settlement, is half a mile down the road. So it's funny that earliest man had come to this place and had loved it for all time. They loved it for a long time, because obviously people they're going to live where they like, isn't it? You know, where they like the look of or the feel of, and then, you know, yeah, it's just down the road. I was interested by this comment many years ago, Matt. I looked at a local hill, which is Carn Bray, and icing. I think he's saying I saw figures dancing around a fire, and I was young at the time, and it frightened me. Yeah. Well, talking about hills and cairn stones, you were talking about stones. That's where I had my first UFO experience. I saw this UFO, and then when I went back and looked at the place where the UFO was and went up there, there was a stone ring type thing. Well, stones just piled on, and it's a burial mound. And people have said that often things are seen above these burial mounds. You know, it's often a thing for UFOs and weird, you know, lights in the sky and things like that. And that's where I had my very first UFO sighting, which was like a triangular UFO type thing. It wasn't flying per se, but it was in front of a mountain there, but it was just the way it was shimmering, and it was huge. And I was like, is that a forest fire? And it's like, no, it's not a forest fire. What is it? Anyway, that was the same place, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've seen the pyramid one. I talked about that on your channel.
The pyramid light. You've seen a pyramid of light.
A pyramid, black craft in the sky, which was darker than the night.
Darker than the sky. Yeah. You've seen one of those? Bloody hell! Well, that's a classic. They call them the black mantas, or the you know.
What was it?
The black manta type UFO. They think some of those people reckon that those black triangles are military.
Oh,
But I
this
mean,
this one was gigantic, Matt. It was bigger than 4 football pitches easily, and it just come over the docks, and we had Navy vessels in at the time. Interesting enough, there was no sound. It was just I can't get my head around how something so massive can have no sound and just float in the darkness below radar as well, because it wasn't that high. I'll never forget it.
well, I mean, radar goes down to sea level. I mean, but it's sea radar then, it's not necessarily aircraft radar, but and sea level radar is more likely to pick up a slow moving object because boats in front of you are slow moving, so radar for boats will pick up things like that probably more than something that's in the sky, because sky radar, it tends to filter out anything below about 50 miles an hour. So
All right.
anything that's not moving from it doesn't appear, moving faster than 50 miles an hour. It's just not on radar. I mean, they can turn that off, but if they turn it off, then it becomes weather radar, because they're looking at the clouds and everything that's in between. So they see like shadows and patterns, which is like the sky and the energies and clouds, and they see like people transmitting on radios and things like that will come up as a little speck. Somebody transmitting on radio. Boop, 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 boop,
Yeah.
and like if you've got a radio transmitter, like a television transmitter, I remember seeing at Cardiff Wales Airport. I said, what happens? Because they said, we obviously filter out slow moving traffic because we don't want to see everything, so we fill that out. I said, but what happens if you turn it off? And they went, well, it's like this. And it was just like, it was just a C pattern. And there was specks. And I said, well, what are those specks now then? And he said, well, that one there is the radio transmitter in Cardiff, TV transmitter, 1,000-foot high. He said, that's that radio transmitter.
Right.
But obviously we don't want to see that, and of course, because it's not moving, when we switch it back up, dump, it's gone. We don't want to see that. So it's interesting. If they turn off the filtering, they can see everything that's going on, including the slow moving or weird flashes and things like that. But they would go, oh, yeah, but we're not interested in any of that. We're not interested in that noise, But it's kind of like, well, but would that noise show you something? It's kind of like, would there be something in that noise? Would you see that triangular UFO that you say it's below radar, or, probably would on marine radar, because that sees right down at sea level, and that does pick up slow moving things.
I mean, we've seen, and I know it's not lanterns, and I've witnessed it with my family, gigantic white balls of light just coming past our house. I've seen one up by the recreation ground, but this was the actual size of it, and I was just gutted because the phone I had was a full spectrum, and I wasn't able to capture it. And I was just looking at it. I knew something was there. I was like, I'm sure I've just saw something in the sky, and I'm just looking there. And it took me about 5 minutes for my eyes to properly adjust, and then I could see it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, look at the size of that. And I'm like, and I want to tell people, but there's no one around. I'm like, I want to tell you there's something up there, look. But it's just gigantic, absolutely gigantic. And there's no way that was from this earth. No way. I know they've done back stuff on UFO technology. That's pretty obvious. I mean, the military does have such crafts. There's no doubt about that. But it's like a mothership. It was crazy.
Well, I saw one of those too as well. We were out one night and there was a ball of light in a field bouncing around. I'm skipping the story really quick here, okay? Ball of light in the field dancing around. Helicopter above it, fully armed. And this fucking thing was jumping to the back of the helicopter, and the helicopter was turning around, and then it was going boop. And it was so the helicopter was trying to sort of turn to see it, and it was doop 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 around this field. Then it fucked off across the fields, and then the helicopter went after it. Now I actually shone a big light at the helicopter, right? And I filmed it. I have the footage of me filming that helicopter. The fucking helicopter came over us and was fucking, like going up and down, sort of like fucking like fuck you sort of thing, And anyway, ball of light goes away. We drove up this hill again. The same hill that I'm talking about is the one that's got Adam's grave on the one side, and I parked my car on the other side. You know, but there's a road that goes straight up the middle. So we drove halfway up this hill, and my mate went, "There it is, there it is." So we stopped the car, got out, saw this little ball of light going through the field, trying to film. The film didn't come out very well, but what I saw with my eyes was a lot more than was captured on the screen. So you see in street lights, and then you see this like sort of light, very indistinct. It's crap, to be honest. I mean, you know, like the footage is shit, right? But what I saw with my eyes was this ball of light went across, and then I clocked it because it had been there the whole time, but I hadn't realized what I was looking at because we were looking at this light, and this little light went across, and then you go, fuck me, there's a massive fucking saucer above it. And we're talking, this saucer was so big, it would have gone from one side of this village called Pewsey, one side of the village to the other. It would have been that big. And I'm not sure how big Pewsey is, but it's probably a mile across. It might be half a mile or a mile across, right? And it'd been there the whole time, but because it wasn't moving and it wasn't illuminated, it was very dull grey. And this little ball of light went up underneath it, and then it went whoop up into the bottom of the fucking the thing.
Wow.
And then the whole thing went whoosh like that, just went up whoosh, fucking like hyperspeed, and gone. Just went up into the cloud and gone. It was like, now I'm just curious because I don't know if I've ever actually worked out how big from side to side the village of Pewsey, but I'm going to do it now. I've told this story many times, so let me just tell you how big Pewsey is from side to side. I'm going to put a ruler. Marlborough, where's Pewsey? Pewsey, right? So let's just get this. I'm going to roughly say from one side of Pewsey to the other. Here we go. Measure distance from there to there is 1.36 kilometers. So what would that be in, you know, yeah, whatever that would be in miles. But it's 1.3, well, sorry, 1.4 kilometers, 4,000 foot across. That's how big this thing would have been, 4,000 feet across. Yeah.
Wow.
And I saw that one night, and that just blew me away. And the thing is, there was also kind of a verification because we filmed the helicopter, so we didn't film the thing underneath it because it was in the field. But then later on, we did very indistinct this footage of this ball going. But what we saw, and then a week later, military police. Somebody walks up dressed in a police uniform, you know, not normal police uniform, and he said, just wondering if anybody knows anything about people shining lights at helicopters or anything like that. And I said, yeah. And he said, oh, you know about that? And I went, yeah, it was me. He went, really? So you're admitting to like shining a big light at a helicopter about a week ago? And I went, yeah. And I said, if you can tell me, right, why he was chasing a ball of light, which went all the way through the valley, went across Pewsey, went up into a saucer and went up. I said, if you can tell me like what was going on there, I'd be interested to know. And he just went, oh, well, I'll just leave you all to it then, right? And that's all I said to him was like, you just tell me why that fucking light just went up into the thing and that helicopter was chasing it. Yeah. And his whole attitude changed. Instead of being like bollocking us, his attitude changed. It was like, right. Well, I'll leave you to it. Probably best not to shine lights at helicopters. I'll see you now. It was like, you know, we weren't being funny, you know, or anything with him. He asked us a question. We told him, I said, mate. And the reason I was shining that fucking light is because of the helicopter who was chasing a ball of light, which went up into a fucking UFO. You know what I mean? And that was it, like, you know.
Wow.
Weird.
What the hell?
So yeah, but that's so come on then, you tell us some more of yours then. Tell us some more of your experiences. I talk for bloody England, me.
Well, that's the major one I've seen. I mean, I'll never get over the size of it, as I've explained, that craft that I see. And I know it was a solid craft because it looked solid and it looked darker than the night sky. And there was no moon showing that night, neither as like full moon or whatever. And I think that they're actually, the reason I think that was there was because of the vessels, the naval vessels that were actually in port. So I think that they're actually watching and monitoring everything that's going on. I mean, I've even heard the stories of some countries where they've had things shoot down with lights and they've actually disconnected the nuclear missiles. There's actually countries that have actually spoken up about this.
Happened in the UK once, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
The
I heard
Rendlesham,
about that.
yeah.
Yeah, Rendlesham. I've always wanted to go there, but isn't that still active?
No, Woodbridge Air Base, the runway is deactivated, but there's a base nearby which is operational. But Bentwaters itself is now completely publicly owned. It's been sold off, and it gets used for. Some people have got storage there. Some people are using it for industrial stuff, and some people race around on the roads. Like there's a bit of a little mini circuit there, and it's used for movies and television shows. They go there and do stuff there, you know.
So you can't physically get to the spot where they claimed it actually happened, where that
Well,
craft came.
that's public land. That bit, yeah, that's public land. But if you get onto the airbase, they've got the nuclear bunkers. You were talking about they shone lights down at the nuclear bunkers, which deactivated the weapons. That's on that base. Now, if you say to them like, "Oh, I want to come on for the guided tour," because they do a tour, they'll take you in the bunker rooms where the control panels were and all this, you know, the police were and all the stuff. It's proper bunkers, like blast doors and everything. If you go, you're going to have that tour. If you ask them politely, they might take you down to the weapons thing, which is on the far end of the base. It's tucked away, hidden, you know, because they always used to hide their nuclear stuff. Is all like hidden away inside a double perimeter fence. So you're already in a military base with a big fence around it, and then inside the military base, you've got another base with a double security perimeter fence and big what do they call them, like sentry posts up on like 40 foot high, 50 foot high, looking down on, well, maybe even higher than that. It might be about 100, I don't know. Anyway, these high posts with lights on them and people looking down on a thing. And they say if anyone was seen inside the weapon storage area who wasn't meant to be there, they had permission to shoot to kill.
Wow.
So, because, you know, if you weren't meant to be there.
It makes me wonder, if there was a nuclear war, would it just be stopped by unseen forces?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Yeah.
It's just interesting that there always seem to be around nuclear bases and nuclear warships and stuff, constantly monitoring. And,
there's been talk about a lot of weird stuff like that over. Is it Sellafield, or there's a nuclear power station up the coast from where this happened. You know, all this stuff with the UFO came down in the forest. You can go to that forest. I've been there a couple of times. You can go to the point where they said it came down and shone a light. There's the field behind. There's two houses which are people live in them now. You know, they're not really into UFOs. The people who live there. In the field behind it is where they say a UFO came down, and all these military people walked over and they were looking at the beings, like, you know, standing by the UFO. So that's all on the same nights. But there's a lot of different stories and sort of about, these people say this happened, these people say this happened. You know, it definitely happened. Something happened. And then, you know, these planes turned up, these C-130 carriers, and started taking all the warheads away, you know, because they'd obviously been screwed with by something. But did that happen? Didn't it happen? You know, like there's no official confirmation that happened, because there were never meant to be any nuclear weapons on that base. That was all hush hush. So they can't turn around and say, oh yeah, we had a problem, something attacked our nuclear weapons and we had to take them away in the middle of the night. Because, I mean, people are going to be going, are they all smoking fucking crack on this bloody base or what? You know, they're like smoking angel dust or something. You know, what the hell's going on? Yeah, sniffing something.
I've actually on a live stream I did a few years ago, I was just looking at the sky, and I had this very radio on here.
Mm.
It's a Roberts R9906, and it's quite old school. And if anyone ever wants to do ghost hunting, this is the cheapest option for a ghost box you can get, but it's one of the most powerful. Hold on, just give you an example. So you can hear it's very bassy. And I was just looking up at the stars because I thought I'd seen something. And then it came through that very device. It went, and I've still got it. And it's a very broad voice. And it goes, "They've landed, Mark, but they're not to attack. And you must play this, Mark." I'm like, it just fluently said it. And I'm like, hold on a minute. I'm looking at the sky, and that's just come out the radio.
They've landed, Mark, but they're not going to attack.
They've landed. This is how it went. It went, "They've landed, Mark." Like that tone. "They've landed, Mark." And then it goes, "But they're not to attack." And then it says, "But you must play this, Mark." As if like I must let people listen to it. But I'm just imagine looking at the sky and having your radio on, and a voice comes
Yeah.
out saying that's you.
Did you? Was that recorded?
Yeah, I've got it recorded. Yeah.
What? I'd like to hear
Yeah.
that.
I'll find it for you.
Okay, now.
Yeah, I've got quite a few audio communication about UFOs and stuff and aliens. Yeah, I'll find it for you.
Mm.
But yeah, you're just looking at the sky and you're thinking, just have the quick smoke, quick break, little cup of tea, and you're thinking, did I just see something then? And then it goes, "They've landed, Mark." And you're actually hearing it and you're thinking, what?
That's mad. Yeah.
Is that the one you have, Shazzy? What do you mean?
She says she thinks she's got that clip, I think.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. I could still remember the words fresh in my mind. Very low tone. "They've landed, Mark."
I mean,
But
I
they're not.
would like to do. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Go on.
No, I would like to do like a skywatch at that place, Zena. You know, the Aleister Crowley place. I would like to do a skywatch there, but when we were there, it's one of those places. It's on the moors, and it's like the wind was just absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't say it was evil. You know, I mean, it was just like a horrible. You know, you really got to wrap up warm and fight the elements, like to get in and out of that place.
Yeah.
And even when you're in there, like, I mean, the wind is whistling through the building, like, you know, unless you had a fire to keep warm, you know, you'd be feeling it. You know, it would not be a nice time being in that place, you know, if you didn't try to keep yourself warm. And you know, it's but I'd like to, you know, see the other side of it, which is kind of like, because it may be connected with the paranormal, and certainly a lot of people go there playing with magic, you know, trying to summon things. And it's one of those sorts of places which is, you know, if it wasn't naturally like that, it's become like that because of who's been there and what's been there. So I think it would be a good place to do a sky watch as well, like just, you know, look at the skies, not just try and contact. I thought that, you know, because it's anywhere that's like that is always worthwhile, you know, just in case.
Definitely.
You know? Yeah.
What's that place in Scotland? They call it the UK Area 52.
Bonnybridge.
Bonnybridge, that's it.
Yeah.
That's another one on my bucket list.
Oh. I've been up there. I gave a talk once up at Bonnybridge.
There you go.
And somebody else did the driving. So luckily I don't remember much apart from sort of like, we're here now. I was like, oh great. Great. So I seem to spend a lot of time going to bloody Scotland when it's dark, so I don't get to see the you know, I don't get to see it. It's very pretty in Scotland, but yeah, don't get to see it.
Oh yeah, I remember that one where you was those kids jumping over that wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell. That's funny as
Was it-
fuck.
Well, I thought, well, I was obviously not on my own, like, yeah, oh shit, So and then it was like kids, and I was like, all right then, well, do you know a way in? And they were like, oh yeah, yeah, there's a way, and it was like, oh, it only goes so far. It goes like a couple of rooms and can't get any further.
Yeah, I hate that. I've been in a few places like that. All the doors have locked, and you're like, nah,
Mm.
gutted.
But I was a bit worried because once we got into that area where the mobile transmitters were, they're alarmed up, So if anyone gets near them, they're so I swear to get out of there quickly. But yeah, Toady says if you go to the hut in Zena and watch, you are bound to see some witches. There's a coven in Zena. Try the Valley also has a coven who hate the Zen a lot. Try Valley also has a coven who hate the Zen a lot. Yeah. Maybe that's why when you go down, you see, because this is the funny thing, isn't it? That woman who owns the place, she turns around and goes, "Nah, it's got nothing to do with Aleister Crowley." And it's like maybe they're trying to play it down. Maybe they know more, but they're trying to play it down. Maybe they're all witches in that village. It could be
Yeah.
something weird like that.
Well, the woman that actually owned it, when I first found it, I was with Chris, my friend Chris, and we was totally lost, and we had about an hour and a half daylight left, and we stumbled across this cafe in the village of Zena. So we stopped there and we had a cup of tea, and we just asked him for directions, and he said, "Oh, my mate's grandmother owns it." And then he gave me the directions, and we got talking, and she was actually a witch, a white witch, and she actually owned the actual cottage because she gave permission to Cornwall Live to do a report on it and everything. And then after that, I don't know what happened to it, whether she sold it or not. People are saying it's been sold. I don't know whether it has or not. But
We're
even
talking about
Kern,
Zena. We're talking about the Crowley place, yeah?
yeah, yeah,
Wow. So she was a white witch, the woman who owned it.
yes, yeah, his grandmother,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Right. Okay.
yeah. But Colonel's done a drone flight thing there, and just further down the field, and he says he's told me he could see some sort of symbol that looks like to do with witches. And I believe that there is a coven there. I fully agree with whoever said that in the chat. And they try to keep people away by saying it's been bought or is now private and stuff like that. And I believe that they do actually do stuff in there, 100%. And they don't like
Mm.
people going in.
Well, yeah, it looked like, that stuff that was in there, those balls, they've been there for a while because I'd seen those in photos from years ago. And obviously they'd blown around the room or somebody's pushed them around the room, but it was properly set up as a Sephiroth, on the floor.
Yeah.
Proper.
I didn't have a clue what it was until you told
Oh.
me.
Yeah, it's the Tree of Life, the Sephiroth. And it's got all the names around the edges and then all the lines interconnect. And there's even like supposed to be a hidden one, which is like it's not physically there, but it. So you actually put all these things in place, which are the actual cardinal points, but it points to one that is there, but it's not physically there. You have to kind of imagine it's there. It's like a non-physical one,
Right.
So it's interesting.
So is that based on what you seen that night on that floor? Is that based on good intention or like bad, like evil?
Well, it's Kabbalistic magic. There we are. Toady just said Sephiroth, which is a form of the Kabbalah and used by Thelema and the Golden Dawn. Yeah, so it's it comes back. Kabbalistic magic is ancient Jewish
So
magic.
it is actually connecting to Crowley and his beliefs.
Yeah, I mean, you look in Aleister Crowley's books, and it's a lot to do with that. It's like it's an allegory for life, and you can transpose a human form on it. Yeah, it's I mean, I'll call it up now, Sephiroth. Roth, and let's get the images up. So there's a character. See, the trouble is, there's a character from Final Fantasy.
All right.
Caught, and then you get all that bloody you get all the images of that. So magic. Hang on, let's just type in Kabbalah, Tree of Life. There we are. Sephiroth, yeah, but it's pronounced Sephiroth. You see, but it's a Sephiroth, yeah.
Right.
So I'll bring it up now so you can have a look. Yeah. So right, let's bring it up so you can have a little look. There it is. Yeah. So basically, it's this type of thing here, and you can see this is it's written in. Let's just bring it up in the image in a new tab. Right, this is all the symbols, but you can see in between them are the Jewish symbols. You see, yeah. So that's Hebrew symbols there. But like over here, you can actually see it. You can see it written in Jewish. So hang on, where's it gone? It's gone there. So that's one. That's the other. Where is it gone? There. So if I open that in a new tab, where's it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Yeah. So configuration of the body. So this is like connected with it as well. It's like, cardinal points along the body. Yeah. But this one here, when I click on it, it won't come up, that image. It goes to that, and it doesn't show the Jewish one. It's weird because it's stored. So obviously, look, you can see it's all written in Jewish stuff. But let's have a read then. So the different names are, there's Keter, Binar, Hokmah, Dart, Tiferet. And I think Dart is the one that doesn't exist. It's the one that you have to kind of visualize yourself. It's often not actually reproduced. So, and then there's Gevura, Hesed, Tiferet, Hod, Netzah, Yesod, and Malkut. So, and if you look at different images of it, you'll see that in some of them, it doesn't exist. See, in this one here, see, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see the layout now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's different light alignments, and yeah. So you've got like one below, one above, and so in this one, you see, you've got one below, one above, and you've got the hidden one, which they don't often is not talked about very much. That's the one you have to visualize. So
it's through your third eye.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. The Kabbalistic Tree of Life. That looks pretty crazy, that one. Let's have a look at this one, because there's loads been written on that. Oh, look, it takes you to a bloody Alibaba.com page if you click on that. Hang on. It's because you buy it. It's a framed print. It's a framed print on eBay. So you can buy it, look.
Wow.
Look at all that. It's got cards from the... what do you call it? When you have your fortune read, you've got your tarot cards. So it's got the tarot cards lined up. Hang on, let's bring it up. So tarot cards down here. Oh, I won't bloody bring it up now, on it. Bugger. Right, there we go. That's better. So the tarot cards and what represents each line, each of the lines that goes from place to place is represented by a tarot card.
Wow.
So, different ways of interpreting it.
Right.
That was what was on the floor, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there we go. I don't know. I don't know too much about that stuff. I was a member of a book club, and it was like I got this thing through the door, and it was like, Magic and Mysteries Book Club or something like that. And it was, you pay a certain amount of money per month, and you can pick a book from the list, and you get it at a reduced rate. So, like, of course, when they send you this thing first off, they go like, oh, you can have a book for 50 pence, and then you can have another book for 50 pence, and then you can become a member of the book club, and you
Yeah,
have discounted books. But of course, the first two are 50 pence, and then everything after that is like, it's like 10 quid a book, 10 quid a book, 10 quid
Yeah.
a book. And it's like, you've got to be a member. You've got to then continue it on. You're contractually obligated to keep going, So it's like suddenly all these books that are there that they want to kind of like get you to have, it was like, well, Aleister Crowley, like Book of the Law, and I was like, well, oh, come on, let's go and see what this is all about. Like, fucking have one of those and go on, let's have a look at that. And yeah, I was just like flicking through it, and it was like, well, this is nonsense, isn't it? It's bloody too hard to understand. What the hell are you on about here? It's just gibberish, like,
Yeah.
doesn't make a lot of sense. But I was reading it, but I could remember it was like a lot of it was like talking about trying to sacrifice children and things like that. And I was thinking, yeah, they're not bloody serious, like, can't be serious about this. And I took it with a pinch of salt, but yeah. And it seemed like the idea was that what you had to do was you had to visualize what you believed coming into reality. So you had to visualize these symbols, and you had to visualize and memorize them and visualize it, and you had to kind of see what you wanted to see. You had to make it real in front of you. And the more real you can believe it, and the more real you can see it in front of you,
Yeah.
or you could bring it into existence. So, there were various kind of things that they were talking about. You had to kind of memorize all this stuff and kind of visualize it and do all this sort of stuff. And I was thinking, Christ, you probably drive yourself insane trying to kind of, if you can make yourself think you're seeing like something in front of you, like I'm seeing a demon, and it's standing there and it's real. I can smell it. I can touch it. Well, by that point, you're probably mad. You're probably driven yourself mad anyway. So it's like, everything from that point onwards, all bets are off, isn't it? Because it's like, well, if you can totally visualize it, well, it's probably not going to go away at that point, because you're now living in a reality where you can manifest demons. So
Yeah.
of course you're screwed, aren't you?
That is true what Colonel just said, because Aleister Crowley's son, who grew up just down the road from that house, he was placed in
The Madron Workhouse, yeah.
the Madron Workhouse, and he went insane.
Mm.
Absolutely insane. I know he died in a car crash, but he totally lost the plot. Absolutely.
I went to that Madron Workhouse because we were told it was a place to explore, but I never knew about the Crowley connection when I was there, because it was like an old abattoir. It became an abattoir, so it got turned into a meat processing place. So they used to kill animals there, cut them up, and then they'd have the freezers to freeze it all, freeze the food. So it's all there, and the freezer rooms are still, 90% there. Like the doors are kind of ripped off and stuff, but it's all still there.
Yeah.
And it's just been left to go. Like, it could be turned into some nice houses, and but it's just there, abandoned.
Listed building.
Yeah.
It's all listed in it. Yeah, the freezer room was part of one of the old buildings, wasn't it? One of the old dormitories, from what I remember. You go in, it's just all echoey, where they just used it as a big, massive freezer room.
Yeah.
But God, I had no idea his son actually lived there. I think I found out about 5 months ago. I was looking up. I was like, what? Because his son was absolutely skint. He had no money. He thought he was supposed to rule the country. And I've never heard of bailiffs, because the Madron Workhouse was a kind of prison, really. It was a kind of they were inmates. They were called inmates. But I've never heard of bailiffs actually having to remove by force an inmate. But they had to do that to him. They had to actually physically remove him from the workhouse. It was just mental, absolutely mental.
Maggie Davis, she hated Madron meat. She'd see the lorries of cows coming through the town. It looked like a bit of a, I've got to say, it looked like a shithole, to be honest. you can imagine that the people living right next door to that would be hearing all sorts of screaming noises, and
Oh
you
God.
know, I mean, it would have just been one bloody big noise and shit fest, really. The cows just shitting themselves shitting everywhere. The smell and the noise and the area have just been horrific. So I don't know how the locals will put up with that, to be honest. But yeah.
I mean, those cows would have smelt the death in those wagons as well on the arrival. So the fear in their eyes and everything. Jesus.
It's a good place to go if you're in that area. It's a small explore, but it's a nice little explore. But Kerno says you went to Madron at night and got covered in anti-vandal paint.
Yeah, got plastered in it. Yeah.
Oh no.
Anti-vandal paint all over me.
Yeah. I don't know what it would be like at night. I didn't get any weird vibes from it in the day,
It's
but
creepy.
yeah.
It is
It
really
didn't.
creepy at night.
Mm.
We actually heard we caught a blue orb actually coming out of one of the dormitories. A big massive blue orb just coming out of the dormitory and then going into the floor. And then when we went downstairs, we heard like what sounded like children running across the top where no floor exists. All the beams have gone.
Right.
Couldn't have been an animal or anything. There's no way because the floors were completely gone. I was like, what? Because there was children in there. They used to stick the deaf and dumb kids in there and everything. They just didn't care. Back in the 18th century, it was a crime to be poor in this country, and you would go to prison.
Yeah. Still a crime to this day, actually. I mean, I think there's something about the Vagrancy
Vagrant.
Act
Yeah.
that if you get grabbed by a police officer and he's trying to be a complete Nazi, he can say to you, right, how much money you got on you? And I'm not sure how much you have to have, but you have to have over a certain amount of money on you. Otherwise, they can say, oh, you're a vagrant. You got no money on you. And they can literally arrest you and take you off the street. It's like they do it to homeless people, but they're like, right, what sort of money you got on you then? And you go, oh, well, like I got the money from what I got to you tonight. And they go, well, you can't have that because we're taking that off you. So what money have you got? What money have you got? And it's like, well, I got no money because you just took it off me, right? You got no money, right? Vagrant.
Wow. Yeah, I've watched Ghost Adventures. I was into Ghost Adventures the first couple of series, like when they visited the ancient Ram Inn, Edinburgh, and places like that. But as it progressed, it started to become a bit of a circus. You could tell that they was having to perform for the camera, and I think that's where they lost their way.
Mm.
It's like that with a lot of these TV shows. When I was actually filmed myself, they was telling me what to say, and I was like, "Why am I having to say what you're telling me to say? I should be able to tell you what I want to say."
I'm just having a look now. It's Vagrancy Act. For the punishment of idle and disorderly persons and rogues and vagabonds. Vagabonds.
That's an old one.
It's like,
I thought that was
rogues.
Welsh.
Don't know. The government has announced it will repeal. This is in February 22. The Vagrancy Act. And why is it being scrapped? They're going to repeal it, finally. It's going to be, the criminalizes rough sleeping is set to be scrapped, the government has announced. Yeah. The controversial law, which has already been appealed in Scotland, makes rough sleeping and begging a criminal offence in England and Wales. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because when Prince Harry got married, they shifted every homeless person off the streets, didn't they? Stuck them on buses and stuff. You weren't allowed to beg for money or anything.
Yeah. The Vagrancy Act was also aimed to punish every person wandering abroad and lodging in any barn or outhouse or any deserted or unoccupied building in the open air or under a tent or in any cart and wagon. So basically, wherever you were, if somebody said, I don't look at him, they say, well, you can't just be, you know, sleeping in a field in open air. And you go, so they go, well, you can't just have a tent and be living in a tent. And then there was like, and you can't even have a cart or a wagon, you know, so you can't have that either. So it's basically it's a way to have a go at traveling people. You know, you can't have a cart and a wagon, and you can't be in a tent, and you can't be in the open air, so you can't be anywhere. You know,
exactly. Yeah, and
it dates back to 1824, and it's still around. Sorry, mate.
I think that's where we're heading, back into that 18th century at the moment. They're trying to push people that haven't got any money and the lower class. They're trying to push them underground, away from the public eye. That's the way I look at it, anyway.
Well, if they repeal this act, then maybe, you know, they aren't going to be able to move homeless people on so much. You know, maybe they won't be able to anymore. And maybe it's like with trespass. The reason they decriminalized trespass because, you know, people were getting pulled in all the time for just like walking. Oh, I'm just walking across your land. Oh, that's trespassing. Right, ringing the police. Right, get down here. And the police were obligated to come and arrest people because you were just walking across somebody's land. You know, and it was like, and they're getting fed up of it because it's like, well, this is not real crime, is it? You know, they're not doing anything wrong, and we're getting called and called and called and called. You know, and now it's been replaced with, so the police have got rid of that bollocks. Now it's been replaced with, oh, somebody's offended on Facebook. They said I was fat. Oh, right. Okay. Well, they've offended you, have they? Right. We'll have to go around and arrest them then because they've offended you. So it's now been replaced with that, you know, like bollocks. That has to be gotten rid of, you know, like I'm offended because somebody said something to me. I'm offended. You know, they got to get rid of that one because it's just wasting police time.
Yeah, and the public order thing needs to be sorted out as well, innit? Because if you dare argue, if you get stopped by the police and you dare argue, and there's people around, they start to threaten you with the public order. I think that's really, really bad. You know, freedom of speech is supposed to exist for us all. We shouldn't have to be careful of what we're saying if we want our freedom of speech. You know, if you're innocent and you're being provoked by the police and being accused of something that you haven't done, you should be able to speak up and speak loud and, you know, tell your truth without being threatened with arrest over a stupid public order.
Well, here's something for you, Mark. Did you realize that in the Broadcasting Act, they have a book, it's the Independent Broadcasting Authority, have a book, and it's the rules of what you've got to do in broadcast, what you can and can't do. One of the things you cannot do, you can't hypnotize somebody, right, on stage, on television. You're not allowed to, and you're not allowed to show a seance.
Really?
Not allowed by law. And it's happened many times. I've seen it, but I think, you know, the television companies just they just float it. You know, they put serious warnings on before it and whatnot, but it's actually illegal. You're not allowed to show a seance on television. And it's there in black and white in the book. And you can ask for that book free of charge. I mean, they probably charge you now, but I remember when I was a kid, I thought I want to know what's in this book. So I said, "Can I have a copy of this book, please? The Independent Broadcasting Act." And they sent me this big bloody thick thing, A4, about that big, and big thick thing. And it's just like all the rules. You'd be surprised. Like that like you or I can't just go out with a video projector and go into a barn and show like a show that we made. If we make a show, right, and then we show it to a load of people in a barn, that's considered broadcasting. And you're like, hang on, but it's just a private event. Like, you know, it's private, you know. It's like, well, they paid for tickets and it's our program. We made it. No. That's broadcasting. And you have to have a license to broadcast. So before you do that, you're meant to get your license to broadcast. So you have to ask them, and they give you a temporary license. You say, like, right, I'm at Glastonbury. We've got big screens on the side of the stage showing the acts on stage, right?
Yeah.
And there are 50,000 people in the audience. It's broadcasting. Just having the image up on the screen is broadcasting. You've got to have a license for that because you're broadcasting to the audience. It's closed circuit television, and people, you don't realize you could be breaking the law, and they could come down and go, "Oh no, we're shutting you down. Where's your license? You haven't got a license." And it's a little money spinner, but people have got no idea that there's rules like that, in place. Believe it or not.
Didn't know that.
Most people ignore it. I mean, I would put on a thing, and put a video projection on, show UFO footage, or put visuals up on the screen, but technically needs a license.
How old is that then? Because, I mean, even Churchill was into doing Ouija boards.
Well, yeah.
Churchill was proper into the occult. In fact, if you put side-on-side pictures of Crowley next to Churchill, they do look very similar.
Yeah. Well, I remember hearing a story because we went to the Hellfire Cave, and that's a good place you want to go, mate. Go to the Hellfire Caves because that's where they used to have their little secret, rituals they used to do. But it was a lot of it was to do with like sexual repression. So they would go down there and have orgies and things like that, But it was occultic as well. There was a magical element to it. And so they dug out these caves so they could have their ceremonies in these caves, and they're man-made caves. And you can go there, you can pay a couple of quid, and you go in, they just let you walk around. You just walk around by yourself in these caves. It's not big enough to get lost, it's not quite big enough to get lost. And so I went down there with this woman, and her ancient relatives were connected to the Dashwoods. She was direct lineage of the Dashwood family that owned that estate, and they were behind the Hellfire Caves. So I was actually there with a woman going around these caves, and she was being interviewed, and I was filming it, and she was being interviewed, and but it's a great place. Now you hire that place to do a thing at night. That would be, and if you're listening, Claire, good idea for you, right? I mean, I'm giving it to you both. I'm telling you, this is an absolutely awesome location to do a ghosty thing.
Where is it in London?
It's near Reading or somewhere like that.
Okay.
Hang on.
I think Ghost Adventures went in there.
Yeah, but it's brilliant. I love it. It's near High Wycombe, West Wycombe.
West Wycombe. That'd be a good one to look up. Yeah, wouldn't mind that.
And you go in there. It's quite dark. It's got little lights every once in a while, but it's
got an altar in it as well, hasn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, these little caverns and rooms are done out with little demons in them and things, so it's all quite spooky. If anyone's wondering what we're talking about, look, I'll share my screen so you can sort of have a little look. Here we go. This is what we're looking at, the Hellfire Caves. This is the way in. This is the entrance way in from outside. So there's a cafe there, and then you walk through that archway and you go into the caves, and it goes down and in, and you've got all this sort of stuff on the walls, like carved in, on the walls. And there we are. Look, the ritual. Look, so they've done it out, and they're people going in there to sort of see what it was like when it was being worshipped. That's right outside. So there's the gates. That's the gates to it. And to the left-hand side, that's where the shop is, and the cafeteria and all that. It's not very big, just a tiny little cafe. You walk down through that entrance and you go in. There's some of the tunnels, look.
Wow.
And stuff like this, and it's a right little labyrinth. It's a proper little labyrinth, and I remember that now. They've got like a skull with these hands coming over the edge now. Look there. It's really good. I mean, it's a great little day out. Just have a look around the caves. A lot of people get confused because this thing on the top, this is on top of it. There's a church, right? Check this out. There's a church on the surface above it. And underneath, which is down here, under the ground, underneath all this, is the caves where they used to do all this stuff. So there's a church on top, but under the church are all the caves where they used to do all the yeah. In fact, look at this here. This is a thing showing you the actual the route of the caves, showing you how they go. And look there, see, the church is on the top, and this is where the caves go underneath. Look at that.
Wow.
Crazy, isn't it? I mean, look at this on the walls. There's stuff like that. Now that's pretty weird, isn't it? Stuff like that down there you'll see on the walls, all carved in, and like weird faces like that. You know, it's all bizarre. And you can imagine people would have been taking psychedelics and getting drunk and wandering around with candles in there and having sex orgies, and it's all like this, mate, on the walls. Stuff in there. It's really quite interesting.
Wasn't there supposed to have been sacrifices done there?
That I don't know. I don't know.
You think that the church must be connected to that place, surely?
Well, I don't know. It's almost like I would see it as just like a mockery of the church, isn't it? Because if you've got a church on the surface and you've got this underneath, it's almost like mocking it, isn't it? It's like, yeah, you can do what you want up there because this is what we're doing down here.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Mm.
That's mad. I'll have to look that up.
Ekbis says he's an imp. What are that bloody pictures from? That's a weird picture. It's like something like Hellraiser, isn't it?
I think he misspelt it. It was supposed to be Gimp.
Gimp. Yeah.
He used to live down a place called Vaseline Alley.
Yeah.
It's a true story. He could tell you some stories. Yeah, I wouldn't mind looking that up. I bet that's expensive
Yeah.
to get that place.
Well, it might not be as expensive as you think. You know, it's if you know, when I went there, I said to them, "I've got this guy here. This is a woman whose family were connected to this, and he wants to interview her. Is it okay if we come in and interview it? I mean, it'll be a bit of publicity because it's going to, you know, talk about the place." And they went, "Yeah, in you go. Doesn't even charge us." We're like,
Wow.
"In you go," because it's publicity, isn't it? You know. And the
Oh, yeah.
media, they do. I mean, I've learned this over the years. If you've got a camera and you're going to publicize a place, it's going to attract more people who learn about that place and want to go there themselves.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't sort of you don't sort of like shoot the messenger. You don't sort of like charge the messenger to get the message out there for you. You know, it's kind of like, yeah. So in general, media can get in free to places. It's usually given as a kind of like a freebie to the media because the media are doing you a favor. So, you know, it depends how you pay it. You know, you could be like, you know, what's it going to cost us? Or if we publicize it, you know.
Yeah. I lived above a naughty bookstore in West Hollywood, and the alley behind us was referred to as a Vaseline Alley. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Vaseline's horrible stuff, isn't it? Bloody hell. It's like once you got it on you, it's just like you can't get the bloody stuff off. It's just like
It's like that anti-vandal paint.
yeah, that's shit. That is that stuff. Yeah.
You got fucking plastered in that. Absolutely plastered. I don't even know why they put it on there. It wasn't going to stop anyone getting in.
Yeah. But yeah, I would recommend that because it is definitely definitely a good one. And another place which I've not been to yet, but I would really like to go to is that I think it's North Wales or Wrexham way. It's the Templar Caves. They call it the Templar Caves, but it's like you just climb into a little hole, and you'd hardly know it was there. It's in a field, and it's just a little hole. And when you go in, you go down, and suddenly you're in a load of caves which have got candles in there and all stuff carved in the walls. And it's like, yeah,
Template.
you heard about these?
Wow.
Yeah, like people like Dan Dixon, Exploring with Fighters, have done it. So it's the Templar caves, underground Templar caves. Yeah, man, it's weird. It's very
Right on.
weird.
Is it big? Is it, or is it just little caves?
It's not all that big, to be honest. Rabbit hole farmer fields leave two mystery things. And I'll bring it up again so you can have a look. So we share people so they can understand what we're looking at. Right, here we go then. There we are. Looks like that. That's the BBC. This I'll bring up the BBC site. Look, rabbit hole in farmer's field leads to Templary caves. It's like cave.
Oh wow! Oh, Matt's just gone.
Field.
There you go.
And you come down, you climb in, you go through, you just get into like chambers like this. Mad, isn't it?
Oh
Look
my
at that.
god! Look at that.
Isn't it? That's
Oh.
funky. It's not big. It's not big, but I'd love to go in there. I'd love to spend a night in there doing some paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
Be great. I'll be up for some of that.
Is that the hole there?
That let me just bring it back up then.
Just lower yourself down.
That's the hole. Yeah, you just go in that hole there. Look, and that's on the inside of the hole, and just climb down, and then you can stand up then and walk. You know, once you're in. But nobody knows who created it. Nobody knows who made that.
It's amazing.
Mm.
Something very similar to that in Cornwall, and I can't remember what it's called, but I'm not sure if it's the English Heritage that owns it.
Hey, Taffy's still awake. He says he was in there not long ago. He's been in there, so he knows where it is. If you've got a pin for that, mate, I'd love to go and see that sometime.
Yeah. What was it like, Taffy? Did you go in the night or the day? Oh, you'd have to get in there in the daylight just before it's getting dark and settle. But there's a
I
place
think it'd be
very
nice to do some
on.
drone footage, you know, get the atmosphere, do some drone footage, and then stay till it gets dark.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I don't think it's, you know, it's not wrecked. So it's one of those sorts of things. I wouldn't give people a location. I would just say, you know, this is where we've been. Because, you know, you with places like that, you do have to make it a bit hard for people to find where they are. You know, you can't just go giving it away.
Yeah.
You know, he'll pin it to you. He does. It's a 6-minute video. He said, "Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah, I'd love to see that." So we are some thoughts for the future for you, mate.
Yeah, thanks for that, mate.
Mm.
Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
That was an interesting chat.
Are you getting tired now then? You've been on for 3.5 hours.
It's the longest I've done.
Really?
Yeah.
I quite often do 4 hours. You can have a look at my videos. 4 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours.
You just go on all night, you could, Matt.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd be feeling more tired actually, but I'm not. So yeah. But yeah, I'm probably going to get off to bed in a minute though. Gotta wind it down somehow, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed the live stream, everyone. Yeah, thanks for coming on, mate. It was that was interesting.
Keep it going, innit?
Hello, New.
Dinkum still on. Hello, it's an early light for Matt. Hey, Dinkum, by the way, I did review that footage, and you are on it. I had to look at your face. He came on my live stream, and he was doing it audio, and then like he accidentally flicked his camera on. He was like, "Oh shit!" Now everybody knows what I look like.
Thank you, Astro. Yeah, I can't wait for the weather to get better. Using my infrared in the daylight.
Well, I want to take my thermal that I haven't used very much, but I want to take that into to see whether or not there's anything weird going on. I want to have a go with that.
Yeah, I got mine to start using as well soon. Not
Mm.
like that though.
Yeah.
Mine's the flare one.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind getting one of the handheld ones that records, because this only does pictures.
Oh,
But like, you know,
yeah,
is that?
yeah. I thought they record.
Well, the really expensive ones do. Why is it not showing? Just wait for it. It should be like showing my hand as yellow, but it's coming out more white. Hmm. No, there we are. Look. Yeah, the trouble is with Fleur is it's all about money. You know, they're just like the biggest rip-off company. It's like they charge thousands and thousands and for quite low res units, and they take photos, but they're like, "Oh, video, oh, video, no, 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 that's going to cost you, sir." Oh no, and of course, lots of other companies have come out now, and they've just got little handheld binoculars, you know, that do
Yeah.
thermal, and they record, you know, for the hunting market, whereas you know, fur, they're kind of like, oh no, we're professionals. We're for like, you know, engineers
Yeah.
and special people. And it's like, oh, for God's sake, yeah, just
That's
give
what I
it
was
a.
gonna. That's what I was gonna ask you. What do you reckon? Because you've studied all UFO stuff and that, you've got history with it. What do you reckon is the best scope for actually, you know, with the green night vision, for actually capturing the skies with
Well, when you say capturing, as in recording as well.
recording? Yeah.
Well, if it's recording, you'd have to have a CCD one, you know, one that has a like an SD card in it. I did have a look at some that were quite cheap. They were only like about 150 quid, you know. And they're not too bad, you know, they're not too bad, those sorts of ones, but uh, they're not incredibly high resolution, but they will capture what you're seeing, you know, as video. Some people use them for hunting, you know, they kind of, but I would, I don't know what to say really. I mean,
What
yeah, I'd
they
have to
give you
look
like?
into it again to see what
Yeah.
the models were. But I did give them out to somebody who was asking me this same question, and I sent it all out to him, but I can't remember what the models were now. I took on look on eBay. So it's like a night.
The only ones I've seen are the military grade, which are like proper, the Russian ones and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like $3,000 and stuff.
Yeah, just be careful with Russian stuff because it does tend to die, you know. Like I've had this donkey's years. Like I've had this about, I don't know, 5 years now. But the things they last forever. These are American and they're second hand. You can pick them for about $2,000.
What's that called?
But you know, yeah, it doesn't record though. But the
Oh,
image quality is very good. You know, it's really really good image on it. So it's super dark. They see in next to nothing, but it just doesn't record. That's the only trouble. So I've got this, which I haven't really used an awful lot, but this has got night vision on it. But it's a 4K night vision camera.
right.
So, you know, it takes infrared basically. So if you're walking around with an infrared light, you know, at night, it wouldn't affect your vision then, but you'd be seeing quite well on this. But I really rate these Boblov cameras we wear, you know, the little police cameras, and they see really well in the dark. You know, they're very, very good. And
Well,
they're just designed to, yeah. I mean, the thing is, you can just wear it, and if you need it, you just push the button, and within like 3 or 4 seconds, it's recording. You know, and so when you're walking into a building and you don't want to be spotted at night, I flick that thing on, and we walk around the dark then, and you know, obviously everything's captured. Whereas with this, you know, you've got to point it. You know, you actually have to point it at things, and it sees a very narrow image. Whereas with the police type body worn camera, it's got a very wide capture, so you see, you know, everything that's going on around you.
Yeah.
So pound for pound, 100 quid for one of those night police Boblov ones, I'd say they're worth the money if you're going into buildings and don't want to be spotted and that sort of stuff. And I mean, if you point it at the sky, it will see the sky,
Yeah,
But-
I have got one. Keno's been telling me to wear it since God knows how long. I keep forgetting. I've got the one with the built-in gigabyte. It's got 86 gigabyte built in.
86.
Or is it 156 gigabytes? Sorry, 156
Right.
gigabyte. It's quite big.
Right. Yeah, because I got like a 32 gigabyte card in mine. I think it is, yeah. 32 gigs.
Yeah,
But
you
you can
add the
put
card onto this
64.
one. Yeah,
Put 64 or 128 in them, yeah.
it's got the little clip with it. I've just never worn it.
Yeah, I mean, I found out after I bought mine, mate's got one, and I think his is even better quality, and it's called a T5 Boblov, and it's even better than the one I've got. So I'm thinking of switching over to that at some point. It's got more LED lights in it, so it lights everything up better. But even if you turn the infrared lights off, it still sees better in the dark. It's more sensitive,
Yeah,
and they're only about. Ooh, they're about, that one's 154 quid. 100. Yeah, here we are. T5, £104 for a T5. Oh, there's one year for £79. It's used.
oh,
That's bargain. Bargain.
was that Amazon,
eBay.
eBay?
Yeah. And I mean, I do rate them. I think they're good little things. They, your hands free walking around. You're not shining the light, so nobody can tell that you're there.
Yeah,
Because when you're trying to film at night, you don't want to let people know you're going in places. They're ideal. You just stick it on, keep on walking, forget about what you're doing, and then you got your footage later on. Then when you come to edit, you got something to show people you're getting in.
yeah,
You know.
definitely. Yeah, I've seen Keno using his. It's quite a good picture, actually.
Yep. So I'd well
Stealth,
recommend.
stealth mode. Stealth mode. That's the one.
Yeah. My dog is moaning downstairs. I think she wants food or drink or something.
Yeah, I'm
So
going to
I
get
go-
on.
Yeah. So there we go, folks. That's what you want to get. It's good for ghost hunts and stuff because you can be in the dark filming. You can see everything, but it saves you having to carry a beast around like this.
Yeah. Oh, it's pissing down now.
Oh, is it raining? Yeah, it has been spotting with us earlier. Oh dear. Oh, this dog is crying. Well, I better get off then.
Yeah.
I suppose go and see what she wants.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's a pleasure having you.
No worries.
And thanks everyone for watching. And take care. Have a good week.
All the best.
All the best. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.